Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? It's your boy, and welcome back to Live with Lafon. Today's going to be a fun one. There were some pretty interesting things that have happened in the past 2 days. Not gonna lie, it's been a bit of a slower news days, for sure. No joke. Very slow. The past 2 days, it feels like not as much craziness has been happening, but there's definitely been some crazy stuff to talk about. To start with something a little bit lighthearted. I'm gonna remove my hat for a quick moment here, just because it does keep kind of grinding against my little friend here. Rough skin, doesn't like having shit grind upon him. Now, I want to start with a more lighthearted subject before we dive into some of the more meat and bones of today's stream, talk show, whatever you want to call it. To start with, let's talk about clowns, right? Now, clowns are supposed to make us laugh. They tell us jokes. They do funny shit. You know what I'm saying? Funny guy, make me laugh. But, if you paid attention to the, well, not even just the news, right? But more so the body cam footage channels these days. I can't remember the exact channel, but I recently watched a arrest video of a clown who was, like, completely methed out of his mind, right? And the footage, the guy just looks like a sad fucking clown. And you just gotta think to yourself, right? You've never seen someone high off their mind like that, being sad. And you've never seen a legitimately sad clown before that wasn't a part of the act, right? But you know what's not part of the act, right? Is the fact that, unlike a lot of circuses that these clowns tend to work for, you guys can happily get vocal with us. Utilizing our TTS, where you'll be able to easily find links for that, featured in the chat and, of course, within our description on YouTube. Continuing on, though, like I said, this clown gets arrested, and I couldn't help but think to myself, right? This is a pretty ironic thing. This clown is probably used to being shoved in a tiny fucking car, barely the size of a fucking Hot Wheel. And now, he's got to get used to being shoved in a cell barely the size of a Rubik's Cube. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, right, that's a bit of an upgrade when it comes to the real estate. But when it comes to how much he's getting paid, I mean, you don't get paid that much in, prison. Pretty sure you only get, 5 cents an hour or something? I don't know, right? I'm not going to sit here and act like I know everything cold steel about prison and all that. I've been lucky enough to live a good enough life to where I haven't faced time behind bars. Not yet. Not that I haven't felt the steel embrace of the handcuffs. I have definitely felt those, but I've never, thankfully, been arrested. But seriously, though, with all that being said, right, you've really got to think, what would be even worse in that situation for the arresting officer? You got to think, right, it's not only the fact that this is a clown who's a meth addict, and a lot of cops are germaphobes, you know what I'm saying? They have a lot of alcohol and sanitizer on him and shit. Surprisingly enough, if you want to make a goodie bag for your local PD, for officers, put in a bunch of sanitizer and shit. They will love you for it. That being said, who here is terrified of crowns? I almost said terrified of crowns, right? Who's afraid of becoming royalty, right? Oh no, money in my account, gold upon my neck. I can sit here and do this and have the fairest maiden suck it straight from my ass. No, I'm trying to ask, who here is afraid of clowns, not crowns? I will admit, as a tiny kid, I used to be really scared of crowns. I almost said crowns again. Yes, as a tiny kid, I was afraid of crowns, guys. I was afraid of being king and having all the toys and shit that I wanted. I was terrified of clowns. And it wasn't until I went and saw a circus with my mom and dad, and there's clowns there. And even back then, I loved loud booms, explosions, bangs, fucking flashes, guns, and shit like that. When I was a kid, I knew what guns were. My parents made sure I had healthy knowledge of that shit. Made sure, if you find a gun, you don't fucking touch that shit. Never point that at something you don't intend to kill. They made sure I understood that shit all too well. We also had some family friends that were real heavily into guns, and they helped me understand quite a bit about it and understand, these aren't fucking toys, these are tools. That being said, I always love loud bangs and booms and shit like that. I love watching videos of explosions and shit. Video games where you could literally, like Gary's Mod, right? Video games like Gary's Mod were my bread and butter back in the day. So these clowns, they come out, and my fear gets eliminated by these clowns because they're just that funny. Like some of the TTSs you guys said, like no joke, some of you guys are fucking funny as shit. By the way, if you guys ever want to send in a subject for us to talk about, maybe there's something you want us to give our thoughts on, a recent viral clip or something, by all means, suggest it. We have a TTS just for that reason. That being said, I'll get this story wrapped up pretty quick because usually I spend a lot of time on shit like this. But long story short, these clowns come out and they do this bit with a camera, and the camera is utilizing like black powder blank. Just makes a loud bang, and it makes it look like a gunshot goes off. And the whole joke was like, oh my gosh, this photo is going to come out so clean, Bobo. It is a new 4K camera and everything. And it was like, it was a bit about how this clown was so excited for his camera, only to have it backfire and mess his face up. And something about the fact that clowns shot what was a camera gun. I started looking at clowns like they were super spies. And to an extent, right, clowns are super spies. They are espionage against our depression and sadness. Even scary clowns tend to entertain us. And I mean, let's be honest, right? We've all been to a haunted house where they had the sexy nurse clown, the zombie one. She's usually covered in fucking blood, running around. She's usually some blondie, usually somewhat cute. Come on, we've all been to one of those. Especially if you go to a college one. Oh my God, they usually have some crazy ones at college towns, man. That being said, man, I want to ask Chad here a good question, right? More so, I guess it's more so a subject, right? I want to go on, but like, I want to also see what you guys think. But what is your guys' dream lightsaber? Because for me, I'm gonna put it bluntly, and I talk about this a lot. But my dream lightsaber, to put it bluntly, is inspired by Asajj Ventress's dual-wielded red lightsabers from the Clone Wars series. If you didn't know, her sabers had a very special ability to connect, going from two double-bladed curved hilts to a double-bladed saber staff with the curved hilts. And I always loved the idea of a saber staff. So if I were to have custom lightsabers, it would be a set. They would be stylized a lot like Ahsoka's, right? Stylized a lot like Ahsoka's. And we'll go with Ahsoka's white lightsabers, not her green ones. And it's very likely that I would probably go towards more a katana-style grip. Think Ichigo's black katanas on Bakdo. By the way, I used to have one of those too in real life. It was fucking sick. But just imagine having like two of those type of hilts that just come together to make a staff. Oh, and with the slight curve of the staff, it almost would look like a U-bow in a way, like a U. You know what I'm talking about? A U-bow, Y-E-U-bow, U, a bow of a U. It is a very long, large bow, old school hunting style. Not easy to fucking wield, but oh, if you can, they are fucking fun. By the way, yes, I have had a chance to mess with some bows and arrows in the past. I'm no expert, didn't mess with them too much, but I've had a chance to mess with them enough that if I picked up a bow, take 10, 15 shots with it, I could probably get to a point where I could hit, 5 out of 10 shots on target. That being said, I think one of my favorite bows I've ever shot was this old, it was an old Cabela's, it was like a cheapo too. It was just a random cheapo pawn shop one that I just kind of kept on hand for plinking. And it was an old Cabela's. It was a double retention, whatever you call the fucking arms where they circle on the compound bow for retention and added strength. I forget what they call them. Those are not the retention rods themselves. They're the fucking wheels that the actual string goes on. But anyhow, I had like a double wheel setup with the compound bow. And so it was a fucking very nice bow. It just, like I said, wasn't anything too fancy. It didn't have any sights, didn't have anything custom about it. It wasn't, you know, Cerakoted. It was literally just some craptastic, maybe $200 max Cabela's bow that I got from a pawn shop for like $80 and then restrung up. Now, I need to remind myself of something real quick. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. Now, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about a few things, all right? I want to talk about a few different things. And one of the things that I want to talk about, right, is Star Wars in general, right? But specifically, right, there's like a Comic-Con that's not too far away. I've been considering going. And I was thinking about going as a Star Wars character. And I am thinking, you know, I got to get some foam padding inserted so it sits a little bit better on my neck. But this right here is a little creature from Star Wars. I forget the exact name right now. Forgive me, but it's a specific creature. Recently, it's been getting a lot of attention because it was featured in Andor as a pet. And this right here is like a puppet. It's like a cosplay puppet where it just kind of sits on your neck. Recently got this bad boy. And it's beautiful. It's nicely made. It's a 3D print. I think the only thing, like I said, that I'm going to do with it is just get some foam padding. And it's probably going to go on like the foot that's right here. And the foot that rests here, like the right there probably. And then I might throw a piece here on the tail. But otherwise, like it is perfectly, honestly, it's perfect. To be clear, right? So back in the day, if I would have gotten this kind of thing, it would not have fit around my neck. And that was because, well, I had no neck. I was so thick as a human, I was so thickerly able that my neck was basically just my shoulders. I looked like anger from inside out, okay? I looked like anger from inside out, okay? Needless to say, now I do got a little bit of a neck. It's not much, probably about 2 fingers worth, but it's something, right? But, you know, a little bit of support there for this thing would be nice. But I was thinking go as a Jedi, bring this guy as a pet. I'm going to try to think of a name for it, too. If you guys can think of any names, throw a TTS through. Let us know, man. It'll help us out a lot and, you know, get the name thrown out there. I've been thinking about naming it, honestly, I was thinking about naming it, Lil Ron. Lil Ron, what's up, man? Lil Ron, what you doing? Little fashion statement piece, Lil Ron. You got a problem with Lil Ron here? You got a problem with Lil Ron? You got a little problem with me. Don't have no problem with Lil Ron, okay? Don't get no problem with Lil Ron. Lil Ron's with me. Lil Ron's with me, bitch. You don't got a problem with Ron. You got a problem with me, bitch. Okay? Okay? Capiche? Good. That being said, another thing I wanted to kind of bring up, right? And this is one that it's a subject that kind of genuinely interests me, right? Chat, where are we watching from tonight? Seriously, what hometown we repping tonight? You know, what's the area codes as they say? If you a hoe in an area code, what code you rep? And if you ain't a hoe and you a bro, well, still share us where you at, man. Where you guys tuning in from, you know? You guys tuning in from my hometown of Michigan. You guys tuning in from Ireland, Switzerland. You guys tuning in from Germany, Russia. You tuning in from Japan. Where is everyone tuning in from tonight, baby? Ooh, baby. I want to know. That all being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk for a moment here as I prep for a beautiful day. Now, I just wanted to tell you guys a little something special, okay? If you guys want to know how I start my days out, right? How does Chris, Mr. Lafon, a.k.a. the big man himself, Mr. Big Mac himself, you know what I'm saying? How do I start my days out? And I started out quite simply with, well, I just got to wake up, and I tell myself today's going to be a good day. I say it out loud. And I make it a goal to say it's going to be a good day at least 10 times in the morning. Within the first hour of waking up, I try to say it outwardly at least 10 times. I'm telling you guys, if you don't believe me, doing that simple act of looking at yourself in the mirror, telling yourself it's going to be a good day, you know, it's good, you know. Looks like we got some people. Woo! Looks like we got people coming in from Ohio, the good morning state. If you know anything about the Japanese language, Ohio in Japanese is good morning. So Ohio, to those of you out in Ohio. We also got some beautiful people from the Big Apple in New York tuning on in. And hey, we love a good high-class gambling baller up in here. And shit, we might even have a few people tuning in from the moon. And well, it just is an honor to have a Moonite here to relax with us. How's Ugnaught and Earl doing? Speaking of friends like Ugnaught and Earl, can we just shout out our boy Ryuzaki Sims? You know, he's always up in these streams, always showing some love, always helping us out, make sure things go smoothly. Y'all gotta show some love to the man. Literally, he's tuning in every time, showing the love and helping us keep things rolling smoothly. That being said, lads and lasses, tits and arses, let me ask you guys this simple question. Do you guys prefer, like, let's say you were getting a gift, right? Do you prefer a red Ferrari or a blue Bugatti? Because I'm going to be quite honest with you. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I'm not really much of a, Ferrari guy. They tend to be a bit more strict on the things you can do with them. I'm more of a Bugatti kind of guy, because at least they let you do your kind of paint jobs you want to do. You see, if I want a supercar, right? If I want a fancy ass car, well, number one, these stupid little high class bougie ass brands, they wouldn't be the first brand I'd go for. You know, if I was getting a bougie car, I'd probably drop a little money, get an old school like a Ford Escort RS 200 Evo, you know, something from like 1992, old school rally car. Try to see something that has some competition to it, you know. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just a little something with some pony power to it, a little bit of modification to it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, laddie, if I can get that old RS200 Evo to get its motherfucking RPMs up to 10K, that bitch will be shifted every gear like a slut on fucking coke, enjoying every goddamn second of it. But in all seriousness, lass, a solid Ford Escort RS200 Evo is something not to scoff at. It's got a top speed of nearly 220, and it's a beautiful thing when it comes stock. Shit, if you can do a Cosworth engine swap on that thing, it becomes even more powerful at nearly 245 miles an hour. Think about that one. Think about the magic featured in classics. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, for those of you who don't know, and there's a lot of you who might not know, I am a huge Ford Escort RS kind of guy. Huge rally kind of guy. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, there is something else I kind of wanted to do for you guys. And first off, right, I'm going to tease some possible future content here. You guys see a lot of YouTubers make tier lists of things they enjoy, right? And I've got a myriad of things that I love, from Beyblades to Transformers to Star Wars even. And something that I hope to do coming in the future is to do these Star Wars games. Maybe we do a tier list for other films and stuff that I enjoy. And, you know, just as a basic, like, quick run-through of the main 9 films, where would I place the main 9 films on a list? Still haven't decided on your name necessarily, but Lil Ronnie seems just right. So, Lil Ronnie, do me a favor. Come chill over here for a minute, buddy. Come on. Chill over here for a minute. Give me a second here, because I'm about to get serious for a second. Y'all are about to hear a very important message. And if you got something you need to say, and you want to talk over me, there's a motherfucking TTS with an easy-ass link to find to use it. It's super cheap at only $1, and it's easy to freaking use. That being said, let's start with, well, what movie is going to go into F tier, right? What movies are going into F tier? None of the 9 main series films are going to go into F tier. What's going to go into D tier? Stuff that I don't like. the 9th one, whatever they call it again, Rise of Skywalker, whatever, would probably go in D tier for me. It's my least favorite out of the 9. You know, you bring the Emperor back, and you just give him a bullshit, stupid scene. You waste the potential between a Rey and Kylo thing, to which, no, I don't think Rey and Kylo should have been a thing. It should have been Rey and Finn if you're really going to be doing another fucking romance plot. Make it Rey and Finn. It makes a lot of fucking sense. And, I don't know, there's just a lot of bullshit in that film that I did not enjoy as much as a lot of people. Moving up to C tier, right? To C tier, I would probably put The Last Jedi. Or not The Last Jedi, actually. The Force Awakens would probably be where I'd put that. Probably put that in like C, D tier. C tier, I would probably put the middle of the recent trilogy. Not Rise of Skywalker, not The Force Awakens, the second one, whatever the fuck it's called. It'll hit me in a minute. But yeah, I didn't think that one was too bad. The middle of the newer trilogy wasn't too bad, I think. At that point, they weren't leaning too much into the political bullshit, and they were kind of playing with some of the good stuff they had. Next up in B tier is going to be the original released trilogy from back in the 70s and 80s. I love them, don't get me wrong, but they are slower paced. They are harder to watch if you're someone like me who is, maybe autistic, maybe you have a focus issue. The older Star Wars films, they're great, but they're hard to watch for someone with a lower attention span. And then finally, when you get to A and S tier films, A tier would be Attack of the Clones, which is episode 2. S tier would be The Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith. And for Phantom Menace, it has a couple of scenes, right? I actually have a real big fondness for the pod racing scene. I always wanted to see more of like the racing scene in Star Wars. I feel like there could have been more done with that, We also had in Phantom Menace probably one of the most legendary duels between Obi-Wan and, Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth fucking Maul, the introduction of the double-bladed lightsaber. Hands down, by the way, the double-bladed lightsaber is my favorite lightsaber, if you didn't know. Double-bladed lightsabers are hands down my favorite lightsaber. The first weapon I was ever really taught to any extent to use was actually a bow staff, no joke. I used to take karate classes back in the day, and one of the first weapons I chose to learn was the stick, the bow staff. A lot of the kids wanted to learn how to use the swords. They were using kendo swords, and there were kids that wanted to learn the nunchucks and shit like that. But not me, man. I wanted to learn how to use the stick. I wanted to use the fucking stick, and I got good with it. I won't act like I was anything tough. I got 3 belts in before I finally quit, but I wouldn't say I'm fucking trained in the sense of an expert, but I got enough to know how to do better than most people with a broomstick. I don't think I'm a teenage mutant. I don't think I'm a teenage mutant Ninja Turtle by any chance, but like I said, I know enough to kick a janitor's ass if I need to. I'd like to think that doesn't need to happen, but you never know, right? A janitor might be an evil Foot Clan member, and they might be after me for some odd reason, because maybe I have some sort of superpower the Shredder needs. That all being said, right? Let's move on to
AGX donated $1. WSG man. First found you through filthy sets. Love you, man. Your personality is great. Don't let PPL tell you otherwise.
Fuck yeah! Much love, my man. I'm glad to hear. I'm glad you enjoy the sets, my man. I'm glad you enjoy the sets. Now, you know what's something else I enjoy? And I enjoy it more so in short spurts because I find it hard to actually fall in love with. And that's Star Trek. I'm going to be honest, right? There's some stuff in Star Trek I do enjoy. But a lot of it is hard for me to get into. It's already hard for me to be a Star Wars fan and Yu-Gi-Oh fan and to an extent even the Pokemon fan, right? It's very hard. The only series right now that's not exactly hard for me to be a fan of, either because of focus or just because of how much people cringe when they hear you're a fan of it, is Digimon. And even then, some people cringe when you say you're a fan of Digimon, so... But, like, that being said, I just lost track of what I was talking about. So let's talk on to something different. Let's change up the subject. I actually had a very fun theory that hit me earlier. And so this is a dumb thought I'm going to share with you guys. I share a theory I have with you guys, right? Okay? I shared this with my friends earlier, and they're all kind of like, oh, it's kind of... It's a stupid random thought to have, but it kind of makes sense to an extent, right? And my theory revolves around the whole concept of Davy Jones's locker. Now, let me ask you guys this. Myths, you know, they have a tendency to have a foot in reality, right? So my question is this. Why did the term Davy Jones's locker become such a thing? Well, I have a theory, and this is my theory, right? I'm going to try to make this as short as possible. It's a really bad habit of, like, babbling for a long time. I'm trying to make this as short as possible, ready? I have a theory that there was back in the day, right, female pirate captains were not unheard of. They were actually fairly common. And so I have a theory that Madame Jones is a hypothetical, I could be completely wrong, right? A simple Google search could easily prove me wrong, right? But I'm just throwing this fun theory out, right? In theory, right, there's this lady named Madame Cotton Jones. Had a husband once named... Well, it's but Davy Jones.
James Sheath 045 donated $1. Hi Airsoft Skinny, I'm autistic and panic when I hear too many words too fast. Could you speak slower for me? And stick to one topic, thank you.
Hi! And this is a multi-topic show. We jump from topic to topic. However, I can slow it down a little bit for you. That being said, so this lady... Okay, she's married to a guy literally named Davy Jones. My theory goes as such. Mr. Davy Jones one day gets disrespectfully killed, locked inside of a footlocker, kicked into the ocean to drown in the locker. This lady, Madam Captain Jones, or Captain Madam Jones, gets real popular and good at what she does, right? Day comes, she finds her husband's killer, and just before killing him, she likely says something along the lines of, now that I've finally caught you, it's time for me to send you to Davy Jones's locker. And I think in that moment she meant it more like, yeah, now that I'm about to kill you
Trick
and
the
you're about to
Smoker
go to
has just
hell,
tipped
do me a favor and tell
$1.99
me old
through
Davy
Super
hi.
Chat. I heard pirates were homosexuals when they sailed.
My friend, thank you. And number two, yeah, can't deny that. There were definitely reports of pirates being a bit of booty bandits during high times, you know. That being said, I can imagine she said something along the lines of, I'm about to send you to Davy Jones's locker to meet him personally, something like that. And I feel like some historian must have been there to experience it. And instead of talking about it like it was, it just got so filtered through the sharings that eventually the only thing that survives of the story is just the term Davy Jones's locker. In reality, this whole term we have may just well been some widow's extreme fucking story of revenge. And the whole time, we got the ghost on SpongeBob talking about sending him down to Davy Jones's locker. But see, Davy Jones's locker may just be referring to the fact that the lady literally told the guy before killing him, look here, motherfucker, you killed my husband disrespectfully, I'm killing you disrespectfully, and when you get down to hell, tell that son of a bitch I said hi. And I think that's what it all was. That's all it came out to be. And it just, through all these storytellings, sharings, the pieces that got left out and lost through time, the only thing we remember is the phrase, I'll be sending you to Davy Jones's locker. Think about that for a minute, man. That sounds like a fucking scorned wife's type of fucking thing. Doesn't it? That sounds like a pissed off wife's kind of phrase, you know? That kind of, oh, you fucking sold my wedding band for an Xbox One? Well, I'll be sending you to Davy Jones's locker, you son of a bitch. I could just see it, man. I could just fucking see it. You get a shoe thrown at you, clobbers you in the side of the head type shit. But That being said, on the topic of pirates, right? In Star Wars, there are a lot of space pirates. There's even a captain that's pretty known, Captain Hondo, who is a pirate, who's a Jack Sparrow of sorts, right? Very much Jack Sparrow. And something I'd like to ask you guys is, do you guys think that space pirate ladies, space women, are sexy? Now, I'm not talking, right? I'm not talking our Star Wars character ones, because there are characters in Star Wars that are purposely designed to be sexy. There's certain species designed to be sexy. Togrutas, Twi'leks, they are designed to be sex icons. Literally, by the way, you want to hear something fucking crazy? If I was a Twi'lek in the Star Wars universe, right, I would be considered a hot fucking commodity. Because number one, not only do I believe aliens exist, my friends, but I think they're going to be a lot like the Twi'leks. I think the women are going to be very sleek, lean, athletically built. And I feel like the dudes are going to be fucking out of shape. Because like I was saying, in Twi'lek society, the women naturally are more athletically built. Basically, they just sit on their ass all day. And they'll naturally have a fucking body that Kim Kardashian would just fucking drool to death to have. And then in the Twi'lek society, the more richer or more appealing a man is, the bigger he is. So I would actually be considered a hot fucking commodity. No joke, in Twi'lek society, I would have the best, and I'm talking the best women clamoring for me, man. Not only do I have the charisma, so I'm not just some fat fucking democratic elected fucking bureaucrat or whatever, but I've got charisma and I'm fat. And to the Twi'lek ladies, a fat dude is, well, that's like meeting Tom Hanks, right? Most ladies, they have that one cheat card in them where if they met someone famous, they would definitely cheat on their men for that or cheat on their lady friend for that. And, well, I know back in the day, at least in the 90s, a lot of ladies would say Tom Hanks, The Rock, shit like that. I don't know what people would say these days, right? That's something you gotta think that's disturbing. There are so many parents these days, parents of the current generation where they're in their 20s and 30s, who would be the equivalent of the Tom Hanks from back in the day?
Trick the Smoker has just tipped $1.99 through Super Chat. Fatty wants your thoughts on the duality of man.
Trick, my guy, thank you. And as for my thoughts on the duality of man, depends on what version of the duality of man you're looking at. If you're looking at the duality of man in the sense that there are two spirits within us, a male side of us and a feminine side, yeah, I can see where some guys have that. Not every guy, but I can see where some guys have that kind of duality to them. But if you're talking more so the duality between spirit and body, my theory goes that in order for us to truly experience the duality of man, or what I kind of refer to as the singularity of man, you have to find a balance, right? You have to find a balance between achieving spiritual and mental joy and physical joys. See, I have a lesson from my personal religion, and we'll just say that my personal religion, we have this belief. Okay, we have a belief where you have to find balance in your life, right? You have to find balance. And that means balancing your sin with your hope. Sin with your hope. It's okay to sin. It's okay to indulge in the darker aspects of humanity. But you gotta be able to pull yourself from that darkness, not let your feet get too deep into it. You don't want to go past your ankles. Because when you go past your ankles, that's past, okay, I'm a little greedy, I like to hold on to what I like. And you start getting into actively being an asshole that no one wants to be around. But if you can find the duality, a way to not only care for yourself physically and mentally, but help others physically and mentally, you will live a truly balanced life, and that's where you'll find the singularity of man.
Streamlabs. Streamlabs.
Loud but appreciated. Oh yeah, baby.
Plateau Sigma has just tipped $5 through Super Chat. It's time to restart our current round. Would you rather have 2 legs for arms or 2 arms for legs?
That's a very good question. And I'm going to turn to chimpanzees to help us answer this. So chimpanzees technically have hands for feet. They seem to have a pretty simple time with that. So I would probably go with arms for legs. Because, I mean, it's like I said, chimpanzees, they have feet, hands for feet. And, I mean, that helps them out get around a lot. So, my thinking is if I'm replacing with my legs with arms, that includes the hands and not just the feet, you know. Like, I'm assuming, right, you're taking foot up from the leg and replacing it with an arm and hand. Now, if you're saying just replacing the leg, keeping the foot, but then just replacing the leg thigh down to your ankle with an arm, well, I mean, you really wouldn't be doing too much different than just essentially giving me smaller, weaker legs, to which I bike regularly. Well, I mean, I haven't been able to the past couple of days. I've been busy over on this side of things, but I bike regularly, I walk regularly. Those legs will strengthen over time. So my answer would still be arms for legs. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, that being said, forgive me if I readjust myself. I accidentally fucking lost the padding of the seat. That being said, oh my gosh, there are a lot of things, man. There's a lot of things. I think, to start with, right? To start with a simple fact, one thing is clear. There's things that happen that we can't explain. There are catastrophes from nowhere. Certain things that blow our minds. Things we can't explain. Things that seem divine. I happen to have a theory that we live inside a computer program. One that will never let us become strong enough to break the veil. One where we'll continue to suffer, continue to repeat every moment. And let me just say this real clearly. If my theory is right, then the next time we see each other will be during the reset. And when we reset, I hope that in thy next chance I can do better for you. Because each step I take is another one that I make for you. That's true. It's all for you. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, that being said, hopefully you guys are enjoying your night and having a good one, because I myself am having myself a lovely evening. It's been fun. Really, it's been a great time. Between talking with you guys, relaxing and chilling, and, well, I mean, just genuinely just having a good time. It's hard not to smile when you're here on the show, talking, having a good time. And in all honesty, right, we really do appreciate having you guys come in. I'm going to stand for a second, get some blood flowing my legs. Sometimes when you sit for a long time, ladies and gentlemen, I'll back up so you guys can actually see me. Sometimes when you sit for a long time, ladies and gentlemen, your legs get a little, tired, fall asleep on you, That being said, Sometimes you just kind of have to move around, maybe do some squats. By the way, as I get some squats in, right? As I'm getting some basic squats in, I just want to ask, did anyone tune into our marathon streams we've been doing? We've been kind of putting more of our content out there for you guys. Trying to, get some hype going around because we have some more content on the way. Some stuff we've been kind of working on slowly, and it has been a long road, but it has been a worth it road, okay? Let me sit back down for a moment. But it has been a long but worth it road. To any of you guys out there who have been wondering, if to those of you wondering if there's ever a change that seems too big in your life, it's never too big to make. Sometimes it's easy for us to get nervous, right? Life changes can be quite severe. And I just would like to take a moment to remind you guys that, no matter what life throws at you, it's all going to be okay. Plus, if you want to bitch about it to me and make it all her, well, there's a TTS to do so. It's only $1, and it's super easy to find the link for that. But you guys can easily make your complaints heard using our TTS system. Beautiful little thing we got set up there. Oh my gosh. That being said, let's talk about stuff we hope to see in the future, right? Some technology. Because there is a technology right now that I feel like, given 10 years, right? Maybe not even 10, maybe 8 to 5. I don't think we're too far off from having true invisibility as a thing. I don't think we're that far off, to be honest. We already have this tank armor that basically renders a tank invisible. It's experimental. It's been experimental since like 2015-ish. But it's supposed to be a reactive screen type of armor that goes onto a tank, and it just kind of replicates the area surrounding the tank and just makes it look like part of the ground, which it's sick, but I'd like to see true invisibility. And I think we're maybe 5 to 10 years off from having literally the ability to just flip a switch on a car and go invisible, But then, of course, it comes a real big question, right? Comes a really big question with invisibility, a really big one, and that is this, of course, and that is, when you go invisible, right, you are essentially eliminating the light particles that cause visibility. And for those of you who don't know, we require light particles for us to see, especially in color. So the theory then becomes, what happens when you achieve invisibility? Will you actually be able to see, or will you be fucked? Because part of the importance of, the powers of invisibility, at least the idea of them, is that we somehow have the ability to still see our hands and feet and body. But I think we all know that wouldn't be a thing. Now, a blind person would probably just feel natural with it. Oh, I can just go invisible anytime I want. Well, that's fucking awesome. They're used to not seeing their body. But a good chunk of us like seeing where our body is, so we know where we're stepping and such. So that becomes a bit of a challenge, right? That becomes a challenge, especially if you're taking a piss and then you accidentally activate your power, don't even realize it. Like that's something, right? I almost want, right? If we go invisible, I want it to be where you just go completely invisible and you just kind of have to know your body and feel and know where your body is. Because, like, if you could see yourself when you go invisible, that'd be kind of weird. Because you wouldn't know if you accidentally tripped your power or not. You could be sitting there taking a piss at the urinal, sneeze, power kicks on. Well, your version of the power lets you see your hands and your body when you're invisible, so you don't fucking know until a dude stands behind you, starts pissing, and is just pissing all over your back. And you're just like, what the fuck? And you turn around and you realize, oh, my power's active right now. And then you have to de-fucking invisibilize and scare the piss out of some dude, thus getting more piss all over your shoes. Invisibility just sounds like more work than it's worth. You know what I'm saying? That being said, ladies and gentlemen, get your emojis ready, okay? Because it's happening. This is what? YouTube versus Twitch War 5 or something? I don't know how many episodes we've done so far, but every episode we do this. If you're watching on YouTube, I want you to spam the fuck out of the fire emoji on YouTube. If you're on Twitch, the purple flame emoji or the purple heart emoji. Spam the fuck out of it in chat. Let us know what site you're watching from. And let us know, well, that you're enjoying it with those fiery flames, baby. Now, let me ask you guys something real quick, all right? I know I ask a lot of questions. I say that a lot. I gotta quit that, you know? But, I do have a genuine question I'd love to see you guys leave a comment on, you know? And that is, if you guys are having a good day, and what in particular has made your day good? Because I do want to share that with you guys. I've said it a couple times now, I've had a good day, and I don't really get to say too much, right? So I'm just going to jump right into it, right? Earlier this morning, I stepped outside, and, well, the sun, it hit my face, and it was perfect. It wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold, it wasn't too bright, wasn't too dim. It was beautiful. Genuinely beautiful. And I couldn't help this morning but just bask in it for a bit. I chilled out there. I took one of our studio dogs out for a little potty break, and you know, again, you just kind of steal a beautiful view of the nice day out. Beautiful blue sky, white clouds. It's lovely, lovely day out. And I tell you guys, I appreciate small things like good weather and a clear night sky. It's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. Very beautiful. Now, let's be honest, right? Something that gets the views on YouTube is not talking about the beauty of life. It's talking about the worst of it. So let's talk about some stuff that grinds my gears, that really rustles my jimmies or ruffles my feathers, right? It ruffles my skirts and shit, right? Really gets under my skin. Let's start with bad drivers in general, but more so the slow bad drivers. Oh my God, the slow bad drivers are so much fucking worse. I would much rather some jackass speed around me and get the fuck ahead of me and just keep on his merry way, because that's just a momentary piece of shit fucking with your day. Moment I'm stuck behind a granny or an old lady and it's a fucking 55 zone and you're going 35, I am legitimately screaming and slapping my fucking steering wheel. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'll tell you guys a quick little story I had. One of the few moments I legitimately let road rage get the better of me, and I actually screamed out my window. I was sitting there driving, and there's this lady, she's got this big-ass fucking truck that's on a lift kit. And this lady's like in her fucking 80s or 90s, barely looks like she could get in the motherfucker. Anyhow, it's a fucking one-way road. It's supposed to be 2 lanes, but this bitch's truck is so big, she's taking up both fucking lanes. She's legitimately wider than a fucking semi with how she had this fucking kit on. I got just so pissed because it's a fucking 40 zone. She's going like 15 miles an hour. We get like halfway down the road. I literally stuck my head out and screamed, "Okay, you old bitch, what the fuck do you think you're doing? You're taking up 90% of the damn road. You're going literally a quarter of the damn speed limit." I was pissed. She just kept on driving. I'm sitting there just pissed off, yelling out my window, "Come on, people got shit to do. It's a 40 zone, not a 15. I'm never the type to get out of my car. I'm never the type to get any kind of physical, but I will scream out my car. I will cuss out my car. I will smack my fucking steering wheel. Get the fuck off the road. Get the fuck off the damn road, damn it. You don't need to be driving at 15 in a 40 zone, damn it. That's actually a liability. That's dangerous. That's fucking dangerous, okay? So if you're an old person out there, maybe you're a young jackass who thinks you're some hot shit and you do that, I'm telling you right now, it's dangerous because, brother, It don't take but one person not paying attention to what they're doing to smash right into the back of you, send you flying forward with your rear end smashed in, and because of your fuck up, it's possible their front end will get smashed in, pushing the engine block on top of them and killing them. It'll have been completely your fault for driving under the speed limit. Boom. Now, something I do want to say, right, is, the question of, am I a wreck, right? Well, no, I'm not a wreck. I'm not a car accident. I'm just a single man out here living life, enjoying it to the fullest, doing my best to experience as much as I can before God comes knocking on my door, knock, knock, knock. Hey, Christopher, time to go. Pack your bags, put on your good suit. That being said, some of you guys wonder if I have a girlfriend or if I'm taken, and, well, if that don't answer for you, I'll put it more bluntly. No, not taken. I'm single. I'm free as a bird, you know what I'm saying? I just choose not to go on a hunt. I am an eagle who knows exactly what he wants in his nest. And right now, the last thing this eagle wants in his nest is a mate and a bunch of fucking eggs that I can't even afford to take care of right now, you know? Because let me tell you something, man. I am a motherfucking bird. And this bird you cannot change. Oh, Lord, I can't change. 'Cause I'm flying high like a free bird. Yeah. Oh, I wish I had my guitar here right now. Even though I can't play it for shit, I gotta relearn a lot of it. I would so just try it, even though it fucking sound like shit. It probably sound like dun 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 dun, but meanwhile I'm going. Oh my god, that song, that is a good fucking fight song. That's a good racing song too. It's also surprisingly a really good song to airsoft to. Not gonna joke. Freebird, Kickstart My Heart. Some really good, like, if you airsoft like I do, or you paintball, or you do some sort of combat sport, like Freebird, Kickstart My Heart, Paint It Black, Back in Black. Some really solid fucking get out and play kind of songs, you know what I'm saying? Another one, right? It's My Life, Bon Jovi's another really solid one. I talk a lot about music genres that I love, right? Have you guys ever realized that I actually enjoy a little bit of Darius Rucker as well? Like, I enjoy some country, right? I enjoy Wagon Wheel, Rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Believe it or not, we had a substitute teacher. Their name escapes me at the moment. It's been well over 10 years since I've seen them. But they were a gentleman who actually worked alongside Darius Rucker as like a tour manager. And then not only that, but they used to work backstage on Bon Jovi's fucking tours. The guy just he basically would tour with a bunch of these people acting as like a manager / sort of like backstage worker, and would travel with them. And he's traveled with like Bon Jovi. He's hung out with Snoop Dogg and stuff like that. I wish I had the name down on me right now, but he's a fairly well-known guy in Battle Creek, and he's like one of the most sought-after substitute teachers. And I just remember he used to tell a lot of stories, and used to want to be like him, go out there, see the world, come back as an old man in my 70s and 80s, and help teach some kids every here and there. Otherwise, just enjoy the rest of my life, sipping on Coke and Jack and smoking on good weed, But yeah, something I do want to talk about. So, really solid thing I just thought to touch on here. I brought up a moment ago that I'm single, I'm not taken, I'm quite on the market. And some of you guys, who've watched Fish Tank, especially season 2, you guys are probably thinking, hey, aren't you married? Like, aren't you taken? Aren't you swept off your feet wearing a ring? I have a ring to wear. I just don't have it on right now. I forgot to throw it on. I left it over in my room that I chill in when I'm not on screen, and my watch too. That's stupid. I got so excited to be on screen, I forgot my watch and ring. Besides the point, right? I'm not actually married, right? For those of you who saw the season 2 Airsoft Fatty and Trish wedding, it's all fake. It was all for a bit. A lot of you guys seem to struggle to realize that 99% of Fish Tank, well, I should say 90, right? Around 85 to 90% of Fish Tank is all just bits, and it's all exaggerated shit. But something that ain't exaggerated and something that'll always be raw and true is our TTSs. It's easy to find the links for that. Easy, cheap. It's only $1. But as I say, fish take a lot of the times, it's candid moments. It's stuff that's manufactured, basically, right? It naturally all kind of happens, but we're all kind of given a character to play and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? That being said, can't wait for when they return. They're going to be making a return, trust me. When they do, yeah. That being said, let's move away from fish tank for now, right? Because we got plenty of other things to talk about. And I think one thing I want to talk about is the fact that we have a lot more content on the way, right? Screw it, fish tank ain't fish tank without your boy. So if you're looking for that energy, you're going to find it with me and my cats, man. Trust me. We got more stuff along the way, more Chris documentaries, more of these beautiful talk shows every day. I mean, guys, we got a lot coming for you guys. A lot of that energy that you guys love from that show will be featured on our channel in buffet style. You know what I'm saying? By the way, shout out to Joker, my dude. Holy hell. How we doing tonight? Shout out to our boy Joker. How we doing? Don't worry. I'm not Batman. I can sound like Batman. I'm not Batman. I'm Fat Man. I'm not even Fat Man, because I'm not even fat. So I'm Chubby Man. Technically, I'm not even chubby. I'm technically chunky. Yeah, that is something seriously I want to say real quick. Like, my stomach, right? I have gone through. So, for those of you who don't know, right, there's 5 phases of fatness. There's what I am right now, which is chunky. A little bit more out, like an extra pant size or 2 is like chubby. When you get about 4 pant sizes out, it's when you're getting fat, big, whatever. And then when you get 6 pant sizes out, which is when you're getting to like 6X pantses, that's damn. And when you get to 8X, that's goddamn. And when you start wearing, stuff that's basically a tarp, that's just holy shit, bro. You need help. Me, I was all the way up to the goddamn portion of things wearing 6X's for a while. And now, I'm down to, well, in some regards, 1X's, right? Certain, like, stretch pant styles and boxer styles, I can fit into 1X's. But most of the time, I'm still wearing 2s. When it comes to jean sizes, I actually don't know the exact size at the moment. I'm rocking 42s. And they have gotten, like, 2 sizes too big on me. The belt I have, I'll see if I can't, when we pop on to our other screen later, I'll try to grab the belt, because my belt is, like, shredded to hell right now. Because I've had to add so many more new notches and holes to it that the fucking material is just completely fucked. Like, done. So, it's likely here in the next month or 2 I'm going to have to order a new belt. And, altogether, right, besides just a new belt, I might need to order a new pair of pants. Because, like, by that time, they'll probably be, like, 3 sizes too big. Because right now, they're about a size and a half, 2 sizes too big. And I mean that, too, right? Without the belt, if I do one hop, they're falling all the way off down to my ankles. Like, dead ass. Whew. I'm just glad, I'm glad to be around and to be here to entertain you guys, because life's too short, Life's very short, and it is up to us to make it what we want it to be. So, let me ask you guys something simple, okay? Let's talk about finding odd interests and diving into icebergs that maybe you didn't realize you would enjoy, okay? Now, if you didn't know, I enjoy documentaries, right? Documentaries, I do. And many a times, myself, I find lost, searching for many a good documentary. I listen to a lot of dive talk. It's quite peaceful. I know deep inside, Documentaries hold knowledge. Knowledge that can strengthen us. And so I've been watching a lot of different documentaries, from dive talk and diving documentaries to nature documentaries. And one that I have been finding myself deep deep of, as Yoda might say, is disease documentaries. I've been watching a lot of documentaries on old diseases, things that don't exist anymore or nearly don't exist. Yeah, it's crazy when you learn a lot of these things. For example, right, leprosy, the classic idea of a leper with missing limbs and shit that fell off from boils and blisters. Something you have to understand is leprosy is a very slow-moving disease and virus. Most bacteria and viruses, they have a multiplication factor of every couple of milliseconds. Like every second of a disease's existence, it is spent expanding and recreating its cells. But leprosy is a very slow-moving half-life. It multiplies at a much slower rate and takes years upon years for the disease to multiply in your body and reproduce. You don't see limbs falling off or blisters and boils until around 5 years after you've been infected. That's how slow this disease multiplicates in your body. So by the time like your hand's falling off, you really don't have much time left. You're about to violently go out, you know? And yeah, I've watched a lot about that, and it's terrifying to think that the seemingly large instant outbreak was just a shit ton of people who've been carrying that disease for like 5 years, and it just so happened around that time, everyone's symptoms just popped up out of nowhere. Thankfully, of course, leprosy isn't so bad these days. I know some people say armadillos carry leprosy, and that's actually a lie. Only like 2 or 3 species specifically carry leprosy. The other ones actually don't and can be openly picked up and cuddled. I don't know the exact species, so don't go pick up the first armadillo you see. But apparently, yeah, there's only like a couple of species that actually carry the disease. Which is kind of cool because I think in my late 80s, I plan to have an armadillo as a pet. Like when I get to my 80s, 90s, I'm an old man. I need a pet that if I knock them with my foot by accident, all they're going to do is crawl up into a ball, bounce around, and then go back about their day. You know, when I'm an old man, I don't want to actually step on like Kowser's tail, which I'll be in my 80s. Kowser will be long gone, but like, I'd hate to get a cat, actually step on its tail, or a puppy and actually step on its tail. But, you know, if I accidentally bump the fucking armadillo, it's just going to kind of roll up into a ball and roll away. Which, honestly, that's like the perfect old person pet, if you think about it. It's a virtually indestructible pet. Just don't go stabbing it with a fucking steak knife. You know what I'm saying? But that being said, right, my bad. But speaking of pets, right, speaking of really cool pets, what kind of pets does Chad have? And if you guys got something cool, I just have my cat, and I think I'm going to keep it that way for a very long time. I think it won't be till one of two things happens, right? Either option A, I get successful enough, can afford a nice single-wide trailer, upgrade to a nice trailer. Then I might look into getting like a small dog or getting another cat for Kowser. So whenever I have to go on trips for a day or two, she has a friend to hang with. And, you know, if it ever gets to a point where I'm successful enough to own a full-size house, well then, thank you. And number two, yeah, we're probably definitely going to get a dog if we get a full-size house. It'd be nice to have something there to protect the place. But, I think I'll be happy with my cat until I come to a time where I upgrade my, home's square feet.
Streamlabs.
It's a good day,
Streamlabs.
you know? It's a warm day for sure. Very warm. It's slightly down, but it's a good day. So let me ask chat this real quick, all right? Any of you guys enjoy a little bit of Well, hold up. By the way, Brainfield, thank you, my man, for that beautiful subscribe, my friend. Got a little distracted there. Now I done lost my train of thought there. I was going to ask you guys a fun question, but now I can't remember. Oh, yeah, I was going to answer this. Would you guys prefer to have it perpetually be 90 degrees Fahrenheit in your weather, or in your area? Or would you rather have it perpetually be 30 degrees Fahrenheit? Just at the snowing point, but not enough to actually make it snow. At least in a meaningful way. What would you guys prefer? I would prefer it to be actually a little warmer. Just because you can remove clothes. You know, you can remove a bunch of clothes. It ain't easy to remove fucking... to always add clothing that's proper, you know? I said that so weirdly. Proper. Proper. You gotta get the proper. Proper. I can't even talk right now, can I? Whew, it's a hot day, ladies and gentlemen. Whew. Getting warm back, yeah. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, our next God, I can't talk right now. So I do have some goals, right? I have some dreams that I want to attain, especially for the channel. One of those very goals being the fact that I would like to eventually get to a point where we can produce a nice, sizable movie, right? I want to make a comedy film. And specifically, I want to make a horror comedy, right? I want to make a horror comedy, and I want to do a film where it's like a dude's bitch who just gets like fucking possessed. And instead of it being, oh, it's this horror film that's all about the gore or the scare itself, instead, like, maybe make the horror the scare of what happens when people indulge too much in what they like. Because I was thinking, like, a comedy stoner movie, a couple goes to take a hit of some crazy weed they get, and it's some, like, demonic shit, and the wife's gonna get possessed, and then she's just gonna get, like, crazy into things that she likes. We'll make, like, the wife some sort of crazy nut job, like, she likes to go fucking skydiving. Well, now, every fucking day she has scheduled skydiving for them, ever since smoking that. Because this demonic possession isn't a direct possession, it's more so the demonic energy from the joint forcing her to want to partake in things that give her huge dopamine dumps. Like good food, jumping out of planes and parachuting down, fucking blowing stuff up with thermite. Like, have it at first seem like she's just being a lot more fun and doing the things she loves, but then over time, the horror comes when they realize, this stuff is expensive to do all the time. And we can lose everything. And then you could literally have it become a film about overcoming addiction. I don't know. I'm still working out the kinks. I think a fucking weird stoner demonic possession movie could be funny. Maybe I'm not the guy for it. Because I struggle with it sometimes, right? But I want to do a comedy, demonic possession type of thing. But I want it to be more of the energy instead of a demon that possesses a person. Because, like, too often, right, way too fucking often, we view demonic possession as straight up a demon possessing you. But if a demon's going to be the most efficient it's ever going to be, it's not going to, like, possess you for long. It'll just leave a part of itself in you and let that fester and make your own type of monster, you know? Let you become your own demon. Because a lot of the times, the best thing to motivate a demon is its own demon. Seriously. So, let me ask you guys something. How would you guys feel? I'm trying to word this right. Because it's a fairly weird thing. But, like, how would you guys... Okay, so let me give you guys a life story to give you an idea of what I'm trying to say here, right? So, quick life story. When I was younger, I used to dream of being a water droplet, being forced through the garden hose from the start, like a giant water slide. Am I the only one that still thinks it'd be fun? Oh. Excuse me. Holy shit. Almost went as green as our screen. That being said, what were we talking about there? That burp really launched me out of space. Nah, we ain't gonna worry about it. That being said, look, I do have something I want to talk about here for a second, okay? I will be slowly making some new home improvements to the house. Before winter hits, I want to install some shelves, and I want to try and build something for Kowser, right? I want to make like a catwalk or something that she can enjoy, because I want her to enjoy the house more than she already does. And I spoil this cat a lot, right? I spoil her a lot. She has she has two separate loft areas, right? I don't even have a private area in that house. And she's got two. Technically 3 with her cat tree. So, like, I spoil this fucking cat to death. I want to keep spoiling her. I want to keep making things cool. And then something else I want to build, especially for the house, is, I don't know if you guys have ever seen model builders, people who make dioramas. Basically, I want to build a mini RC track. And what I mean by that is I want to take a folding table and make a 1/64 scale RC style kind of track. And then maybe get a couple of mini RCs, or get just one 1/64 scale, or a 56 scale POV RC car, and then we can fucking build a track layout for fun with that. And then what I can do in the future is look into connecting the FPV camera up to our Streamlabs, because you never know, in the future if I build the stable, we might be able to get a fucking stream camera going of a view from the stable. And I think it might be cool to build a Beyblading stadium in the middle of this, like, track. I think it'd be pretty cool, you know? Imagine if we could set up some AI RC cars that'll just ride around as we're fucking Beyblading and shit. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I have plans for, a lot of things that I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And just as a little reminder, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want to suggest a subject to cover, or you guys want to ask us a question, or really anything at all, TTS is currently active. It's only $1, and it's fairly easy to find the link for TTS. I promise you guys, it's worth it. It makes your voices vocally heard here on a virtually generated voice. But yeah, let's hear your voices, you know. That being said, I say it a lot. That being said, I say it a lot. There's just so much on my mind I want to talk about, and trying to pick one out in particular can be hard sometimes, so it takes me a second. But I think one thing in particular I want to talk about is what's everyone's favorite dinosaur? Because for me, it's a hard choice. I gotta quit tapping. But for me, it's a hard choice, right? It has to be between the Tyrannosaurus Rex, Spinosaurus aegypticus, Stegosaurus, and then the last two of my top 5 that I love a lot, Parasaurolophus and Brachiosaurus. Just classic, beautiful dinosaurs, you know? Whenever you think dinosaur, you're thinking of them, you know? You're thinking the big spiked tails, the plates on the back, the big sail, the Spinosaurus. You're thinking the giant jaws, you know. That's what you're thinking. You're not hearing the word dinosaur and thinking, oh, a mouse. Oh, a spider. Even though those of us with arachnophobia would have had a way worse time in the Cretaceous period. Let me tell you that much. Cretaceous insects were, oh, wow. And don't even get me started on Devonian era fucking insects. Those things are terrifying, man. So do yourself a favor. Count yourself lucky if you hate insects. Count yourself lucky to live in 2025. Where the worst you're likely going to happen to come across is going to be out in Australia. Because if this were any year before, it'd be a lot scarier. Trust me. Man, it wouldn't just be it wouldn't just be spiders that you'd have to be afraid of. Another prehistoric creature that I usually watch a lot of documentaries on, and I like to kind of relax too, is terror birds. You guys ever hear of terror birds? Quite quaint creatures, is how I'll put it. Quaint. That being said, oh gosh. God damn. Stomach's been acting today, whew. But yes, it is quaint is how I would put it. Been running my mouth this whole time. Keep losing my train of thought. But we're good. We're going to keep going here, right? That being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to suggest a category or something we talk about, maybe you want to make a comment, or you just have something to say in general, we have a TTS that is currently working, active, and hooked up to a nice loud speaker, and it's only $1. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask you guys a lot of questions, right? I ask you guys a lot. And the reason I keep saying I want to ask you guys something, it's just kind of a bridge of subjects that's easy for me to go to and fall back on, right? That being said, moving forward things, if you guys were given an opportunity, right, if you have the opportunity to live life for a day through the eyes of another individual person.
Top Drawer has just tipped $3. Chris, loving the new format. Just wanted to ask, what are your favorite books? Have a great one.
My friend, thank you for asking that one. I haven't read a whole lot of books in the past few years. I struggle with reading. Not that I can't read per se. This is undiagnosed, but it's possible I have dyslexia. I say possible, right, but I don't know, I kept it to myself most of the time, and it's really only lately I've been more open about it. But if I look at things like words or data for too long, after some time, everything kind of just phases together, the words mix together, and it gets sort of hard to read. And sometimes I can, force my eyes to go back to normal. But most of the time it gets pretty hard and I have to look away for a few minutes or do something else for a few minutes before reading again. But back in the day when I had an easier time reading, there was this amazing book, changed my view on life, called Johnny Got His Gun. It is a story about a soldier from World War II who has all of his limbs blown off, his whole face, right? Eyes, nose, mouth, lips, ears. Well, no, he has his ears still. He can still hear. But he just can't speak. He's basically a living hunk of meat. And the whole book takes you through this man's hell, right? He's living in hell as a hunk of meat on an operating table for most of the book. But he's reliving the weeks coming up to his going out and fighting the war. He's reliving every moment up until the blast that put him in that position. If you guys are wondering about Johnny Got His Gun, You know, there's an old Metallica song, right? Quit tapping, big guy. There's an old Metallica song. It's called One. And it's based on that book, and more, I guess more specifically, right, the book's movie. But that is a song that is about Johnny got his gun. And I might give it a shot here. Not even might. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to pull up the lyrics, and I'm going to give it a shot. At least give the first couple verses a shot here, right? It's just been a long time since I listened. But I do remember this song quite well from back in the day. But it's a very good song, you know. That being said, here we go. Oh, come on, butt. Come on, quit with the farts. That's the movie part. Here we go. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're ready. I just want to remind you guys that TTS is active. And just know that if you can't leave a TTS, well, at least like the stream and share us out. Show us some love. Let people know us. Let people know of us so that we can grow and continue to grow our viewer base. Now, I'm going to do my best to try and sing this. And if I can't, well, then forgive me. Might sound like shit. We're going to give it a shot. I can't remember anything. I can tell if this is true or a dream. Deep down inside, I feel a scream. Now that the war is through with me, I'm waking up, I cannot say that there's not much left of me. Ah, shit, fucking ads. I hate when lyric sites play a bunch of ads. All right, here we go. Back in the womb, it's much too real. It pumps life that I must feel, but can't look forward to reveal. Fed through the tool that sticks in me, just like a wartime novelty, tied to a motion that takes me pay. Cut this lifeline off from me. Now the world is gone. I'm just one. I'm just doing everything. Hold my breath as I wish for death. Oh, please, God, help me. Darkness imprisoning me. All that I see, absolute horror, I cannot live. I cannot hide, trapped in myself, body, mind, whole self. That mind's taking my sight, taking my speech, and taking my hearing. It's taking my legs, it's taking my arms, and it's taking my soul and let me down. Whew. Surprisingly enough, it's a largely instrumental song. Very few lyrics, but it's a classic. It's a good one. You know, it's a very, very solid one. If you guys ever want to get an idea of what Johnny Got His Gun is like, there's a really good one. Another really solid book that I read back in the day, if I can remember the title properly, I think it was called Sophia and Me. Look, I'm going to be honest, right? I am not a huge rom-com TV show kind of guy, but the rare couple of books I've read, a couple of them have been romance, right? And it's something called something like My Time with Sophie, something like that. And it's this book where a guy gets with this lady. She's got like some sort of terminal disease. It's not cancer per se, but it's terminal disease. And she only is given like 2 years to live or something like that. And so this guy dedicates his whole, like the next couple of years of his life to make hers the best. And the whole book is kind of a message of like, even in your worst moments, if you're portraying a smile, you will find the will to go on. And throughout the book, the doctors keep saying like, wow, you know, you lasted year 3 now. A year ago, you should have been gone. And it ended up being a story where like, she ended up living another like 8 to 10 years based on the guy's love. And that's really what it was that kept her alive. It was a really solid story about love and hope. And I can't remember the exact name, but I think it was like My Time with Sophie or something like that. It's a very nice book. If you get the chance, read it. Then, I've read a bunch of books, right? And a lot of the times I never remember their titles. But there's this one book, and maybe it's a very niche book, right? Niche book in the sense that not many of you guys would read it. But if you guys ever get a chance to look at the Scuba Diver's Bible, basically, if you look up that, it is a fairly interesting read, and you will learn a lot. Even if you don't want to learn about diving in particular, you learn a lot about gases and things like that. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, y'all realize that Lafon backwards is Fallon, right? Yeah, I'm not gonna bullshit you guys. Old Jimmy, on his talk show, he saw my dad's last name, said, I'm gonna take it, do it backwards so I can't get taken to court, and I'm gonna start a show. Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. But spelled backwards is Lafon. Fucking cocksucker. You can't just... That's literally like stealing someone's song, playing it in reverse, and saying that's yours. It's not yours, brother. It ain't yours. It ain't yours, Jimmy. You know that, Jimmy. Besides, every Jimmy I've ever known has been the type to end up sleeping with the fishes. If you know what I mean. Wearing a pair of size 10 concrete 12s. If you catch my drift. That being said, I gotta pull up one of my subjects here. I usually have like a list that I go over, right? So let's talk about maturity. Let's talk about maturity for a second. And no, we're not going to talk about how Ethan and Ian, aka iDubbbz and his wife, seem to continue to throw boxes of fireworks and gallons of gasoline into this dumpster fire they have. And I'm going to be honest, this dumpster fire slowly have become it's become a forest fire. Ian, let's put the flames out. Let's call the fire brigade. Stop the forest fire now. Quit throwing the fireworks in that dumpster. Quit throwing the gasoline in. That fire is as hardcore raging as it's going to get. You pissed the internet off. You kicked the fucking beehive. You've been stung by the whole fucking hive, you fucking idiot. What are you waiting for? The third hive to get involved? But we're not here to shit on Ian, right? We're going to talk about maturing in a different way. So, something that I've noticed that has matured a lot lately myself is my taste buds. Now, to this date, I still have the taste buds of a toddler. Okay? I'm not even kidding about that. I like mac and cheese. I like pizza. I like what I like. And that's just me, right? But I've had my taste buds mature a lot lately. Something I used to not be as into, that I'm into nowadays, is spicier foods. I used to not be a huge salsa guy, but nowadays I like a little heat with my shit, right? If I'm eating a burrito, put a little salsa on that bitch. If I'm eating some fucking chips, put a little salsa on that bitch. Surprisingly, I'm not a fan of hot sauce. I'm more of like a salsa kind of guy. I like actual spice. I don't like the fake shit. Like Red's fucking hot sauce or whatever, you know, Tabasco. That shit isn't real good hot sauce, you know what I'm saying? You need good salsa. You need actual peppered sauce, you know? Another thing that I've kind of had a refined taste for is more and more I find myself craving fresh pineapple instead of canned pineapple. Yeah, I know, right? A guy whose big thing when it comes to eating fruits, foods, all that, is texture, right? A lot of it's texture for me. Surprisingly, fresh pineapple, fresh watermelon, certain types of grapes, fresh, are good to me. Onions, when you grill them, are tasty as hell. I'm not gonna lie, that's tasty. And then beans. I used to be a huge fan of canned baked beans, but now Well, now, every so often, like, it's gotten to a point now where every so often my buddy will literally end up getting a bag of, like, beans. He'll just randomly forget that he's shopping for himself and grab a bag of beans for me. So usually I'll have some beans to mess with and experiment with. And so I like to do that a lot, right? And one of the mixtures I've found that makes some of the best baked beans you could ever ask for is you're going to take some pinto beans, fresh ones. You're going to soak them in a water mixed with some seasoning. I use Jamaican jerk seasoning and a little bit of South African blend with the peppercorn. You mix it in, and you let that soak for about 4 hours to a full day. I like to do a full day because it gets the beans nice and tender, and it locks the seasoning flavor in. Then, what I like to do is I'll boil them until they're nice and tender. Drain the water 80% of the way. Keep a little bit of the water, and then I put a bunch of barbecue in it, and then I'll add in a little bit of teriyaki sauce. A little sweet teriyaki to be specific. And then you stir that bitch, and you let it get to a point where it's bubbling, and you cut it. You let that boil up. If you got some bacon bits, you throw some bacon bits in. And let me tell you something. If you've never made homemade baked beans before, it is stupidly simple, and it is tastier, and the actual texture of the bean is more appreciable than you would from a can. And that's me being seriously honest with you guys. Another thing I'm being seriously honest about is the fact that our TTSs are extremely cheap at about $1, and they give you guys a very vocal voice during these streams. So if you end up wanting to do something like, I don't know, interrupt me and tell me to fuck myself, or you want to throw out a subject for us to talk about, by all means, let's see those subjects come to fruition, okay? Let's see it happen. Because my friends, we love hearing you guys. We love giving you all a voice. It is amazing. That being said, I want to throw out there another subject here, another one. And that's the fact that the 4th of July recently happened, ladies and gentlemen. And it was a very beautiful time of year. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful time of year. We had sparks going everywhere, from explosions in the sky to having those little fountain fireworks to having little sparklers where, woo, you could try to write with them. I don't know if the camera picks up the writing too well, does it? Probably not. But, hey, you know what I'm saying? It's a freaking good time. It's the one time a year we as Americans get to blow some shit up, light some shit on fire, you know, make pretty colors out of fire. Actually, if you want to know something cool about sparklers like this and, you know, fireworks in general, right? Something you want to know is that if you want to color the flame or the sparks, like, ooh, look at that prettiness, you use different metal alloys. You know, woo, I hope I don't pop that. You don't want to pop balloons with these bad boys. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you take different metal alloys and you put them on like the stick, or you stick it into a fire, it'll dye the fire a different color. I believe magnesium does green. I believe potassium does like an orangey yellow. And I'm telling you, man, it takes your magical wand of sparkulation, your magical weapon, all right? The Harry Potter Avada-Kedavra, Harry Potter's Fireball of Fate. You know what I'm saying? It takes you from that to extending it to something more beautiful, like the green flame from Jurassic Park. Yeah, or an extremely limited lightsaber. Ooh, that's a little close to our face there, buddy, wasn't it? Lafon, little Airline, little bang, you know what I'm saying? That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys have all enjoyed your holidays, my friend. Because let me tell you something, all right? The holidays are a very special time of year. Oh, no, keep going, a little longer. Ah, and she finally went out. That was a really long one. But now, after it's done burning, like if this were made to be thicker, like a corn dog, this would just look like a really burnt-ass corn dog, you know? That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I really do hope that we all had a good chance to enjoy our holidays. As I said, when it comes to the 4th of July, it is the one time a year we as Americans are legally allowed to blow some shit up, to launch a few rockets, without having the FDA or the CIA or the FBI knocking our doors down. Because, ladies and gentlemen, usually when you're buying a truck full of explosives, the FBI has a few words to say to you. But, the 4th of July, that's one thing they don't worry about. So again, hopefully you guys all enjoyed your holiday, Put us on the right way. Light's right there. Put it on the light side. Put it on the light side, big guy. Right there. There we go. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about life and the purpose of life, right? Why are we here? Well, I would like to think that we are all here to exist. I feel like we're put here to experience life and what it can be like. And besides that, I don't know what we're here for. But I think that we are here to experience being human for a reason. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to remind you guys that currently there is an emoji war going on in chat. An emoji war. That's right. If you're on YouTube, you're going to be spamming the fuck out of that orange/red flame emoji. If you're on Twitch, you're going to spam the fuck out of the purple flame emoji, or even the purple heart if you don't got the purple flame emoji available. Because towards the end of stream, we're going to announce which side of this war has seemed to pull right on through. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, remember your flame color and spam the fuck out of it in chat. It's free to do, my friend. That being said, how do you guys feel about the idea of time travel? Are you like me and feel like it's a very dangerous tool? I feel like time travel is going to be a lot like AI. It's an amazing tool, but it's an easy tool to abuse. Now, let's be honest for a moment here. I feel like if we do finally decide to buckle down and take time travel serious, I wholeheartedly believe that it's probably going to take some sort of catastrophe, like a rogue AI, for us to be like, okay, we have to go back in time. We have to somehow stop us from being so into AI that it overtakes our lives as fast as it does. I think that's when we're going to figure it out. Because a lot of our major advancements in technology have been made during times of war and disaster. Now, if you want a really good example, I keep removing my hat, forgive me, but if you want a really good example, right? The X-ray, the internet, and infrared technology all exist because of World War II. All because of all the medical experiments and science going on. We invented better medical technology, infrared sensing technology, and the Americans in Britain collabed and created the internet. Yes, the very thing that we're using right now to conversate in this show, the very thing that allows you to drop $1 on TTS and make your voice actually heard here on the show, the ability for us to make phone calls to our family and such, all is thanks to World War II and our boys and girls working in the science labs of our American and British government. Yeah, that's a fact. Look it up. It's crazy to think. So I wholeheartedly think that the next giant leap in technology we have will probably be something along the lines of time travel, maybe some gene manipulation even. And I think it's likely going to be because we're in such danger that we have to go back. Stop said danger from ever having the ability to be created. Because let's face it, right? With AI, it's dangerous because you are basically taking an electronic version of a human being or a computerized version of a human being, and you're it's a lot, right? It's a lot when you think about it. I full-heartedly believe there's going to come a point, right, where AI is going to become way too hard to just state the difference, right? It's going to be way too hard. You're gonna turn on the news, and you know, on one channel you're gonna hear Jeff You Betcha telling you one thing, and on the next you're gonna have Bigfoot telling you, "Oh my God, it's raining bitches." And sadly, there's gonna be people out there who legitimately believe it's raining bitches. There's gonna be some actual people that believe it, and that scares me. That scares me. So hopefully, we will evolve with AI tech to understand. There's also something else.
Moon Jockey has just tipped $5. Balloon time, balloon time. It's balloon time. I love the Alex Jones vibe.
You like the Alex Jones vibes? Well, I'd like to think that I'm not that crazy, right? I'd like to think that I'm not about to scream about them turning the freaking frogs gay. But I think I will. I'll point out when things seem a little crazy in our world, right? Like currently, we have reality, like these balloons, right? These, look. And I thought that hurt my ear. That popped off right by the microphone. Y'all had that even fucking louder than me. That was like Avada Kedavra. It exploded. Oh my gosh, baby. So many balloons. So many balloons. And then confetti over here, because this one exploded. It said, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." Pop! Life in general is a journey, and it is us to pick a beautiful route in which to enjoy. We'll try to avoid letting the balloon go that way to let it pop again, because that would be a bad idea. Because you guys have another big ass pop in your ear. That being said, chat, if you could select a new color for the sky to be every day, what would you choose and why? For me, I feel like I would have to go with probably a nice lavender. I feel like a nice lavender color in the sky would be something that would help people relax, you know? Do you guys ever think about... Do you guys ever think about the fact that there might be space animals? I know you guys are like, oh, whatever. This guy sounds stupid, right? But I mean that, genuinely, right? What if there are space fish? Space whales? You know, it might make sense they're extremely rare. You know? Life as is seems extremely rare for universes. So what if these animals, these beings, you've never encountered them yet, simply because they're a little bit rare. They're not easy to find. Maybe the reason we haven't hit a space whale is just because there's not that many there. Let me try to find something real quick here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to talk to you guys about, about some nerd stuff for a second, right? And we'll talk for about a moment, okay? But am I the only one that feels like Konami, in particular, is making a really big mistake by not investing in making RC versions of some of their monsters? Like, no joke, right? Like, no joke, right? The Viacroid archetype, right? The Viacroid, that Cyrus Truesdale uses. You're telling me there's no one that would get a fucking ambulance roid fucking RC car from Yu-Gi-Oh? You're telling me no one would buy a Labyrinth tank RC car? I'd buy a Labyrinth tank. Are you kidding me? I'd do it in a heartbeat. If they had, like, RC Yusei Dual Runner or something like that, I'd probably fuck with it. That being said, there's honestly a lot of series that could make RCs that don't. And I'm surprised. A really good example of this is Digimon. Digimon has a lot of vehicle-based Digimon. How do they not have more RCs? A really good example, Armadillomon has Submarinamon, or whatever the hell its fucking secondary armor evolution is, or becomes a submarine. They have that. They have freaking, not Devimon, but Beelzemon's fucking motorcycle, for Pete's sake. They have so many options out there. So many options to choose from, so many things that they could do to make things a lot cooler for what they have in their lines, you know? But these people are too afraid to make those jumps. You know who I think would make a shit ton of cash? Like heart-shaped balloons on Valentine's Day? I think if the Godzilla franchise nutted up and made some RCs of their vehicles, they'd have a bunch of money on their hands. For example, right? I think they need to make RC Maser tanks. I really do think RC Maser tanks need to become a thing. Sadly, they're not. Why the hell did that smell so funky? Smelled like old alcohol mixed with like baking soda. What the hell is air horn mixture even? I'm genuinely curious. Is it like some fucking CO2 mixed with like liquid retard? Hell if I know. All I know is that they're loud. They're so loud, as a matter of fact, my mother used to have to use one to wake me up in the morning. That's not a joke either. I used to struggle waking up on time in middle school and high school. And so my mother used to just come up with an air horn. Just blast it, you know what I'm saying? Blast it in my ear. I know this ain't an air horn, but it makes noise, so it'd be like this. Basically, that's what it'd be like. Blasting in your ear, waking up. But you know what? It was effective. I can't get mad at her. It was effective at waking my fat ass up. It wasn't until I switched high schools and then just stopped giving a fuck. But you know what? That's okay. Because life, it'll hit you like a sack of potatoes. And sometimes you just gotta pull the flamethrower out, burn that bitch, cook up some baked potatoes, and enjoy a good meal out of life. That's what you gotta do sometimes. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you guys something here. Let me ask the chat. A little question here. Given the opportunity to have a dinner with one deceased famous person, one, who would you have dinner with and why? I'm gonna be honest, probably Bob Ross. Bob Ross, or I would go with, I don't know if Mr. Rogers passed away yet. I'm pretty sure he did. It's probably Mr. Rogers, one of those two. And the reason I would choose them is I would be talking their ear off, asking every question I could on advice on how to be a genuinely good person. How to genuinely keep on the path of being a good person when it becomes so hard. Because I genuinely feel like Mr. Rogers or Bob Ross would know for a fact. I feel like they're like the last two people that could truly publicly tell people how to genuinely be a happier, kinder person. I try to follow in their footsteps, and I ain't perfect. I mess up all the time. I make so many mistakes, it bothers me, you know? But you know what doesn't bother me? The fact that every time I continue to kick ass, get back up every morning, and do everything every single day, just like normal. Because that's life. And you know what's not normal? What's not normal is streams that give you a voice, an actual way to be vocally heard during the show. Something in which we have. For those of you wondering, we got TTS. It's active, it's cheap, affordable, and it gives you a voice during the show. So, want to be heard? There you go. We got the link for it going out in chat. The links for it over on YouTube are in the description as well. It is all fun, my friends. So if you've got a topic you want us to talk about, maybe you've got a question or something, well, we're giving you a beautiful avenue for it. That being said, let's talk about one more subject here. I got another one here I want to pull up here. Let me pull it back up on my phone. And that is, I want to bring it back to earlier when I brought up my theory that life is a big computer program. I want to take it back to that for a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, if we were in a computer program, I'd like to ask this. Do you guys think it would be difficult for us to find a way to hack it? You know what I'm saying? Like, hack it in the way of, like, I don't know, but we'll figure it out, right? Maybe we find a way to somehow spawn just whatever we want, whenever we want, at will, right? But do you guys think that? Do you guys believe that? Because I do. I really do think it. Because you can't create or destroy matter. It's a lot like how data is stored on a PC. Even when you delete the data off your PC, you destroy it, right? It's still there. There's still a backlog, a handprint, echo of what you visited and what you downloaded and what you've done. Who's to say life isn't like that? Who's to say that the stories that we tell of King Arthur and all them, all these historical figures, who's to say those aren't just popular shareware that's just shared around? Think about it. If they were truly gone, we would never talk about them. We wouldn't remember their name. I feel like if life itself is a computer program, we have hit our LimeWire era. Our era of open source, open sharing, files, programs, and such. And the reason I think we're in that era, and I think we only just recently came into that era, is because the AI we have has become pretty damn amazing, actually. Has become pretty fucking sick. And it's a lot like early days of, LimeWire, MapQuest, all that. It's all sick. It's pretty cool, you know? That being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you guys this. If you guys could eat colored mac and cheese, right? If you could color your mac and cheese any color you wanted, what would you color it? Because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've always wondered what, like, a pink mac and cheese would taste like. And no, I don't mean drowning your mac and cheese in that pink sauce lady shit. That just looked straight up disgusting, like melted bubblegum. Didn't look good. I'm not talking melted bubblegum mac and cheese. I'm talking just mac and cheese that's pink. Still tastes like mac and cheese, you know?
Vodka sauce?
One of our buddies suggested vodka sauce. I mean, is that pink or is that more like an offish cream color? Every vodka sauce I'm just saying, every vodka sauce I've had has been more like an off cream, maybe a salmon. I guess salmon would technically be a pink, right? Or would salmon be another cream? I don't know. Wow, that is like the cleanest silly string cleanup I've ever had. Usually there's like a shit ton of it just everywhere. But all there is a little tail piece here that just kind of off. Unless there's more I just don't see that's in like my hair or something. Which is possible. About as blind as a bat when I'm not paying attention to something directly. Look at this ball. Can I be honest? Silly string when you balling up like this feels so weird. It's so fucking strange. It's like you're playing with chewed up bubble gum. Here, let me help you out, buddy. I gotta get you like some foam to help you sit up a little bit better. How you guys like little Ronnie here? Little Ronnie. How you doing, little Ronnie? You doing good, buddy? How you guys like little Ronnie here, man? He's pretty cool, ain't he? It's a fun little critter, you know? That being said, gosh, we've almost touched on every subject I had planned for tonight. Can't lie. Let's talk about old TV shows that we used to enjoy, right? TV shows have evolved quite a bit. Do you guys want to know probably two of the oldest TV shows I've ever watched? The two oldest TV shows I've ever watched have got to be The Twilight Zone. Yes, I've watched the original Twilight Zone episodes from like the 50s and the 60s. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard about this old show, but there's a show called The Amazing Talking Mr. Ed. Or Mr. Ed the Horse, it might be called as well. I've watched a lot of those too, like old shows. There's just such a wide variety of different shows out there these days, man. It's crazy. By the way, did you guys know, if you're interested in learning a little bit about copyright law, did you guys know that if you listen to a song that was written, produced, and copyrighted before, I think it's 1922? It's either 1922 or 1924. But that can openly and freely be listened to and played and everything without issue because of those copyrights. Woo! Holy shit! All I did was just touch the damn thing. What the fuck? What the fuck? You broke my heart. That's like a fucking Juice WRLD song. Broke my heart. Oh no, she did. Well, I guess she did. Because this is all that's left of it. What the hell? Is my little buddy here? Look, Aaron, that you popping them with your spikes? It's possible. Aaron, you gotta chill, buddy. It's balloon time, boy. It's a good time. Balloon time's a happy time. Happy time, that's balloon time. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all are having a beautiful day. Ladies and gentlemen, do you see what color this balloon is? Or is this doing like it did the other day with the yellow balloon? I can't tell if this is too close to yellow. But I will say this much. This is a fairly mustardy looking balloon. No, this is just straight up a mustard colored balloon. Y'all see this, I can't be the only one that sees it, right? This is a mustard colored balloon. Put this on a fucking hot dog, you'd have a good meal. Boing. It didn't pop, yay! Finally fucked with a balloon that didn't pop. Still sad about the red heart. That's the second heart balloon that popped on me, guys. You think God's trying to tell me something? Because how could you be so heartless? How could you be so dark to evil? Putting up with things that I don't know. I got the style, I got my groove on your door. You know where this thing goes. You're on to tell your friends that you're leaving. Every heart balloon has broken on me. Am I just not allowed to be loved? Every normal balloon that looks like it's on the brink of popping just chills. I've got no love. Damn. Can we talk about shows and games that deserve a remake? Like for a brief moment, let's nerd out. I mentioned the other day that Metabots deserves another crack, right? And so does Beat 'em On, right? But one that I think deserves another crack at the windshield, per se, is honestly, Ed, Edd n Eddy. And don't do shit, right? Don't do shit other than update the artwork for Ed, Edd n Eddy. Don't do anything else but that. Use the exact fucking audio from the original fucking show. Do not redo the lines. Only update the visuals. Watch this balloon survive and chill with me, no problem. But then this hearts always fucking pop on me, man. See, it didn't pop on. It didn't pop on me. What the hell? So am I just destined to have balloons shaped like hearts pop on me? That's okay. You know why? Because you could be a heartless son of a bitch and still be a good guy. You just gotta work your ass off. You know what I'm saying? Oof. Boom. Boo doo doo. Oh shit, here we go. Another balloon. Hell yeah, it's balloon time. Ladies and gentlemen, how we doing tonight? It's motherfucking balloon time. Come on this way, bro. Thank you. Here we go now. We got balloons up in this bitch. And I hope that y'all are enjoying this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this. If you could make a collaboration between two franchises you never would expect, what collaboration would you have? Because for me, it's simple. Star Wars and Star Trek. Yes, Star Wars and Star Trek. Is it Star Trek or Star Trek? S-T-A-R or S-T-E-R? I've never known. Is it stir or star? I feel like I've been in universes where it's star and stir. Let me readjust my sitting on this thing. Hard bottom chairs. At all. Ladies and gentlemen, how are we feeling right now? How are we feeling? Hopefully we're doing good. I got a happy balloon! He's happy! He's happy! Actually, the shape of this thing, that smile, you know what it fucking reminds me of, ladies and gentlemen? You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the old Kmart blue light bulb guy. Remember Kmart? Oh, wait! It's doing the green screen thing. Hello. Hello from back here. Wait, if I were to talk through the balloon, would it give an echo if I were to put it up to the mic and do this? Because it already just kind of externally has a bit of an echo if I do this. Tell me, chat, does this give the fucking microphone a little bit of an echo? Because it kind of gives an echo on the external out here. See what I mean? Boing. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. If you like snakes, what's your favorite species of snake? I genuinely want to know. I genuinely want to know because, like, I'm going to be honest with you. Is this heart going to stay with me now? It's not going to pop? I think it's going to pop. Yay, I get to keep a heart. Is sparklers what you think it is? Maybe it is. I feel bad, man. All the heart balloons are dying on me, man. But look. Watch this, ready? I'm about to pull up all these motherfuckers. Look at this. We got a balloon, light blue, fucking survive. No problem, right? Circular, does this thing like every balloon should, right? Does everything a balloon should. Then we have these clear ones, right? These guys got the confetti in them, right? Paper's inside them. It should cause a paper cut. Somehow, they're fucking fine. Apparently, according to balloon culture, even though this comes off as like part of the green screen, it's a smiley face yellow balloon. So apparently to this balloon, I get to be happy, even though to you guys, my happiness just looks like a dark void. Like a legitimate black hole that does look kind of like a black hole I'm holding in place, don't it? Where is, oh my! I forgot I do have a surviving heart balloon. What the fuck? What the fuck? Calm down. No, seriously, what the fuck? That time the sparkler was way over there on the table. Okay, smarty pants, what is it now? How could it be? Damn. Ladies and gentlemen, how many fucking heart balloons have we had that popped on us? That was a confetti balloon. Yeah, how many more heart balloons are gonna pop on us, right? How many more are we gonna get given? That I'm not, and that's the worst part, right? Usually I fucking pop these things for like some sort of joke or bit. I'm not even intentionally popping them this time. This is just kind of fucking happening. And it kind of brings a tear to my eye in a way. It's like, it's only the heart-shaped ones that are breaking. Why can't it be the circular ones too? Well, I mean, I guess one circular. Oh shit! We got a minefield behind us right now. Just balloons that are just exploding behind us. I guess it's good to know some of you circular bastards are dying too. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to talk about something in particular. And you want to know what that is? My favorite word. You know what my favorite word is? Take a guess. Take a guess. I'm going to transform this transformer. Give you guys a second to guess. Okay, I'm going to try to figure it out. You done your guessing? Well, I don't know what you're guessing because I completely forgot what I was talking about. Not even going to lie. Autistic brain fart, ladies and gentlemen. You know what you can do, though? We got a TTS that's active for $1 and with an easy-to-find link. You guys can throw a TTS out to put me back on track. But, yeah. I just completely lost track of what I was talking about. I ain't gonna cap. That's that autismo forgetfulness, you know? Ladies and gentlemen, how are we feeling tonight? How are we feeling? We doing good? That's good. Let me remind chat, we do have a current emoji war going on. If you are viewing this on YouTube, you'll be using the regular fire emoji. If you're viewing on Twitch, you're going to use the purple fire emoji or purple heart. And, well, towards the end of stream, we're going to tell you guys which side of the war won. Lately, we have seen, like, the past 3 streams be a YouTube clean sweep. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to tell you something important for a second, all right? While we're getting those flame emojis going, getting your spirits burning, let me say this. If you're wondering, you know, because I still do smoke cannabis. Some of you guys wonder if I do still. I do. And if you're wondering what I like to use when I do, well, it's tank glass. Specifically, my tank glass beaker bong, the one that I have that's, I think it's a 14-incher, if I remember right. It's a 14-incher beaker bong. Let me tell you something. Those motherfucking bongs are built to freaking last, man. Weapons grade. I'm not even kidding. Someone breaks in, you could clobber them on the head with that thing, and it would be just as effective as hitting them with a baseball bat. That's not even a joke. If you're ever looking for a piece of glass that's built to last, literally could be a family heirloom item, I would definitely suggest looking at a tank glass. They are amazing. Thick glass, durable pieces. You never go unhappy with them, trust me. You leave them with a smile every time. You want to take a giant blast to the lungs, you got to use the proper barrel. And tank glass has the perfect bongs with the perfect barrels to send all that smoke right to you happily. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope we're all having ourselves a good day. Ooh, that's a really full balloon. Oh! I touched it! I touched it with my hand! That was it! Am I like my mother? Am I cursed? Am I cursed to pop every balloon I touch? Like how my mother was cursed to kill every plant she ever tried to grow? That's not a joke either, by the way. I'm going to try to fix my little buddy here. I'm not going to joke about that either. My mother tried so hard to raise tomatoes, strawberries, rose bushes. She even tried to grow a fucking cactus. And somehow she killed a fucking cactus, guys. How the fuck do you kill a fucking mini cactus? Come on, someone on TTS tell me, how do you kill a mini cactus? Because some fucking how she did it. She did it and didn't even have to try. That's the worst part. I'll try to transform this real quick. If you guys didn't know, Transformers and Star Wars at one point did a collaboration. Now I'm trying to figure out how to get it transformed. They had a collaboration where they had Commander Cody as like the new age tank. And then they had Rex. Okay, how do they want us to spin this? Oh, that. And that comes up like this as a backpack. Here's your arms. Pop your legs apart. Pop your feet out. And ladies and gentlemen, like I was saying, Transformers did a collaboration with Star Wars. They did, I think it was Obi-Wan and Anakin as their Jedi Starfighters. They had Commander Cody, which is this one, as one of the newer Force Awakens battle tanks. And then there was Captain Rex, who I believe was the AT-AT gunfighter. Just going to go ahead and put him right here now that he's all good and done up. But yeah, they did a collaboration, and we have one of them here. Part of me wants to get my hands on the Anakin one, or at least the Obi-Wan, so I have a set. Other than that, I mean, this has been a great day so far, you know what I'm saying? It's been a beautiful morning. All in all, today has been a very eventful and very good day. If I could suggest you guys try anything at home, it's this. Try, when you're drinking your drinks, to close your eyes as you're drinking them. Close your eyes and imagine the colors that you see. You'll find that you'll enjoy your drinks a lot more. You know what I wish they would make? I'm going to say this right now. How has Hot Wheels not created their own popsicle brand? How have they not? For instance, right, you get those orange push-up fucking popsicles, right? The orange sherbet push-up ice creams. You get one of those. You make the packaging look like a nitrous oxide canister. And you make the ice cream blue. Then you have an instant hot seller Acceleracers nitrous bottle of ice cream. Then, you know, I don't know. There's been a lot of stuff that brands could have done that would have been interesting, right? For example, Pokemon could have just made a cereal where they could have just made a literal circular cereal that they all just look like Pokeballs. Could you imagine a Pokeball cereal? Or like a Pokeball variety cereal where it's Pokeballs, Master Balls, Ultra Balls, Good Balls, Big Balls, Small Balls, Heavy Balls, Net Balls, Safari Balls, Friend Balls. By the way, Friend Balls are a thing. They're an actual fucking thing. Love Balls, there's fucking Dark Balls, there's fucking Evil Balls, Mewtwo Balls. You know, Pokeball cereal. A ton of Pokeball cereal. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about another thing with you guys. What is the deal with airlines these days? What is the deal with airlines? And I don't say that as like some shitty opener to a joke, right? I genuinely know what the fuck is going on. So I don't usually have too many issues when I fly. But one that I had just after season 3 of Fish Tank, on my way back, they canceled my flight. I was in, I think it was Florida. I was in like Tampa, Florida, and they ended up canceling the flight. And the whole fucking flight was there, bitching about it, right? And at the front desk, meanwhile, like at the front desk, there is a whole plane of people getting pissed and loud because these guys are literally telling us they're not going to rebook the flights. They're telling us that they're not going to book us a room for the night. They're not going to put us on another flight. We're supposed to buy another ticket. Thankfully, we actually had a licensed lawyer that was supposed to be on the flight, because literally that lawyer spoke up and said, look, man, this goes against the fucking law, and I am a lawyer and can deal. Like, dude fucking went off. Eventually they decide, okay, we're getting everyone the next flight out of here, which was going to be like 9 a.m. the next morning. But we're not getting you guys rooms for the night. We're not getting you guys food vouchers. We're not going to help you guys out, you know, make sure you're set up and good here. Basically, we got told we had to fuck ourselves for essentially like 12 to 15 hours waiting for this next fucking flight. Which, if you don't know, already being in the airport, especially as someone who's autistic, it sucks. But to essentially be trapped states away from your home, terrified that you're about to get stuck. Whoo! The amount of fear that runs through you is impalatable. I think that's the word I want to use, right? Impalatable. Infallible. However you would say it, right? It is... It's just kind of crazy to think. Oh. Whew. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, whew, we are having quite a banger tonight. It's a hell of a show. Loud, strong, that's the way it be sometimes. That's the way it be. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to remind you guys there is a TTS. If you got something to say, well, you can say it here verbally using a robotic voice. A beautiful robotic voice. Ah, man. Ah. Whew. Hey, little buddy, let me help you out here. Doing good there. Keep holding on, buddy. Keep holding on. Keep going strong. Keep doing every little thing that you can. That's right. Right there, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Because we are the champions, my friends. And we'll keep on fighting till the end. Da, da, da. 'Cause we are the champions. We are the champions. Them's are the losers. 'Cause we are the champions of the world. Whew! Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a beautiful, beautiful night. Whew! Extremely beautiful. Oh, man. Gathering up on a string. Oh, shit. Got the dang bell. Oh, no. Hold up. I got the Rasta hair, man. Sprayed on Rasta hair. It's like you went into a cloudy with a chance of meatballs and told the kid, don't do shoes, do spray on hair. To which, yeah, Berg, or however you say that character's name, if you were smart, you would have done spray on hair. Trust me. Whew, hold on. Gotta take this off for a second. Holy! Hold up. Oh man, some of the shit gets stuck in your hair. Whew. Ugh. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, if someone knows any secrets, please, let's hear it in the chat with a TTS, ladies and gentlemen. With a TTS. That being said, ladies and gents. How are we feeling tonight? We feeling good? We feeling light? It's good. It's good. Y'all should be feeling amazingly good. Y'all should take time today to find a way to smile, okay? And I'm talking smile for miles. Because let me tell you something. If you can't roll around the dirt laughing, you ain't living life. Let me ask you, chat, one more thing real quick here. Let me ask you guys one more thing here. Given the opportunity to experience one thing, right? Regardless of health, wealth, social status. If you had the chance to try one thing you've always wanted to do, what's one of those things? Because for me, I think before I pass away, I want to go skydiving, at least once. Yeah, you heard me say it, skydiving. Let's chuck my fat ass out of plane with a parachute and pray that that chute can hold my fat butt. Whew. Looking like some fucking dandruff. Hold up. Whew, got that out. Can't lie though, makes your hair smell purty. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, what's one thing you'd want to do? Because for me, skydiving, and if not skydiving, the one thing I'd like to experience is taking a van, souped up with a lift kit and everything, and just driving out in the middle of nowhere and getting lost. Maybe a nice hybrid van that's electric and gas. Put a solar panel on top. That way, snap for a quick second. Whew, some blood flowing leg. That way, you know, if I run out of gas, oh well, at least I can still go about 25 miles an hour, you know. That being said, yeah, part of me wants to just kind of do that, you know, disappear into the wilderness. Just go away for a month, then come back. Come back like I'm Bigfoot. Coming back after a big movie deal, you know. I want to know something, chat. I'm gonna give chat a name. I'm gonna name chat like it's a child. I think we're gonna call you guys Chatstifer. Chatstifer. We'll stick with Chatstifer for right now. Chatstifer. I hope y'all are doing good. Okay, Chatstifer. I'll probably think of a different name for chat for now, but Chatstifer. I hope y'all remember that life is a game. It is. And it's a game you have to learn to play responsibly and well. And it's a game that's easy to play responsibly, hard to play well, and easy to enjoy. It's the kind of game where you both have to think and you have to turn your brain off for a bit. That's just what it is. Beautiful hyper mess. Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, there's a button on this belt. Apparently it don't just spin. It also has a button. I love it, man. I love it. You know, I swear, it's the simple things in life that can bring a person a smile. If you're having a rough day today, what's one thing that would make you smile? Genuinely, I want to know from chat. You know, what's something that after a tough day makes you smile? For me, I like to keep things simple. A nice hot cup of cocoa, a nice little cuddle with a puppy, you know, pet him, love him, take him outside for a walk. That or stepping out and seeing the stars. There's something therapeutic about looking at the night sky, and you see some of the very things that adventurers who mapped out our worlds have seen a billion times over. And we get to see the very same thing. That being said, chat, I hope that we are all having a lovely evening. Hopefully, you know, you guys are tuned in and enjoying yourselves. I want to remind chat one more time that there is an emoji war going on with chat right now between Twitch and YouTube. If you're on YouTube and you're enjoying the stream, post the fire emoji, basic, orange and red. And if you're on Twitch, post up the purple fire emoji or the purple heart emoji. I know some people don't have access to the purple flame, but they have the access to the purple heart. Either way, let's see them emotes pop off. Like they're Pokemon badges. And you guys are at the league. And I'm at the gate checking your badges. So, show me them badges. Let's see them flames and hearts. Let's see that love, that spirit flow through you like your name is Loveless the Penguin, and this is Happy Feet. By the way, am I the only one that loved Loveless from Happy Feet? Like, who else, like myself, enjoyed that character? It's a fun character. It's a fun character. That being said, let's take a moment to help little Aaron here, little Aaron. Let's help him out real quick. Get some of this sticky stuff. Here you go, little Aaron. Help you out here, buddy. And if you guys are wondering about this little guy, well, he's my new best friend and my little co-host. We'll call him little Aaron for now.
You said Ronnie.
Did I say Ronnie earlier? Little Ronnie? I can't fucking remember half the time. Man, it's been a beautiful night. It's been a beautiful length of night. It's a good one. So chat. Just a reminder, if you guys want to utilize or have your voices heard on these streams, we do have a beautiful TTS. Beautiful TTS. Lovely voice set up for you guys. Gonna try do a little bit of housework here to keep all this together. Try to limit the possibility of little Ronnie here eating some of this and getting sick. By the way, you guys, I just want you all to know that all of you who tune in, everyone, the ones who tune in, who share, who utilize their TTS and such, y'all are my favorite people on earth. You know that? Dead ass. Y'all are the most supportive, loving people out there. Dead ass. I appreciate the fuck out ya. Dead ass. Dead ass. Dead ass. Dead ass. Almost sounds like you're saying dad ass. By the way, y'all remember that one song from the 90s? There's a part where it goes like, whoop, there it is. Growing up, me and my friends used to think it was saying, whoop, there it is. Not whoop, there it is. So every time me and my friends in elementary would try to sing that song, we'd be like, whoop, there it is. Our teachers would always be like, language, you're getting on our asses. It's funny. It's funny, you know? God, I say ass so much, I might as well be an ass man, you know? That being said, ladies and gentlemen, whew, I tell you, sometimes I wonder what would happen if one day we all woke up and we all magically found just another $1,000 in our bank accounts. What would that do for you guys? For me, I don't know what it would do. Because I don't know what I would do if I woke up and randomly found $1,000 in my bank account. Never done that before. I wonder what that'd be like. I really do. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, what are we feeling? If I were to ask you guys, what kind of night is tonight for you guys? Right, if I was to ask you, is this a Star Wars night? Is this a Jurassic Park kind of night for you? What kind of night is this for you? Because for me, tonight feels like a Godzilla.
It's
film.
intermission time, folks. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right over to our refreshment center for the most extravagant array of refreshment goodies ever assembled under one roof.
Give me something else! Give me something else, yeah.
Strike two!
God damn it! The lucky fucking bat! The lucky fucking bat! Now!
Not even a bat, but okay.
It's alright! It's
我有几个球真的打得不错。
这个球飞到的是在左野方向。This ball is long gone, just like the ex-girlfriend who will never return. Home run!
That's stained glass. Can your bong do that? Gentlemen, what's going on? It's your boy coming at you from the studio, and I wanted to talk to you guys for a second. You see, have you ever been left wondering what you should get for someone special in your life? Maybe you want a special treat, but you don't know what it is. Or maybe you want to replace that old answer machine. Or hey, you know what? This might even be stretching it, but maybe you're a business person looking for an ad or someone to do a production tag for you. Well, look no further than my Cameo, where I do all of that and then some. So what are you waiting for? Check out my Cameo today. They make amazing gifts, amazing little personal treats, and hey, if you happen to need some motivation, I can help you get off your ass. That being said, what are you waiting for? Check it out today.
Hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, welcome back. In this portion of the show, camera's working, right?
Yeah, now it is.
Some reason the camera's weird. Do we need to adjust the angle, or are we good?
You're good.
We're good? Perfect. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our special portion of the stream where we reflect on the things we've learned today, and we take a second to exercise our brains a bit with a little bit of reading. And so I'd like to take a moment to go over a few things with you guys we've gone over, in hopes that we've learned a little bit more about each other, and in hopes that I've inspired you guys to look into things more. Today we talked about a couple of conspiracy theories that I have, along with a conspiracy theory that I came up with recently about the whole term about sending someone to Davy Jones's locker. And to be honest, I thoroughly believe that, yeah, I think it was some sort of badass one-liner that some female pirate named Captain Jones said, and it was probably some sort of revenge one-liner for a killed lover. We've also learned that I have a strong belief that we are living in a computer-generated system. It's not that we don't have consequences for our actions, it's that our existence is nothing but binary code. And it could be that all of existence is just binary code at the end of the day. It might never end with the code, you know what I'm saying? That being said, something else we've learned as well is that, well, I have a fondness for balloons, but the heart-shaped ones always seem to break on me. I have one that stayed around for a while and then popped. If that's not a metaphor for my love life, I don't know what is. We also didn't learn, again, how to build a car. And I would like to take some time at some point to learn how to build a car. Learn how to pull an engine apart and such, because that would actually be kind of nice, you know? That'd be kind of nice. One more thing that we have yet to learn, that I would like to learn, and I think would be a very special thing to learn. I kind of want to learn how to knit. I know, it seems stupid, right? It seems weird that a guy wants to learn how to knit, but I don't know, a part of me wants to take up some knitting and see what I can do with some knitting, you know? That being said, I hope you all have been having an amazing night so far. It is a beautiful evening. I think something else that we've actually learned is that, well, we can all find ways to enjoy the simple things.
Streamlabs.
Oh my, we got another person using the TTS system, baby. Just a little reminder, we do have an active TTS, ladies and gentlemen. What's that? Some scribble. Gotta remind myself, because sometimes it's TTS, sometimes it's scribble. But ladies and gentlemen, I do want to stress that we do have ourselves an active TTS. That being said, that right there was a subscribble coming to us from a beautiful individual known as Onset Diet. Something that we've been on for a while at Onset Diet, losing that weight, getting good, you know what I'm saying? Getting strong with it, you know what I'm saying? That being said, one thing that we kind of learned, and we lost learning too, is the fact that we can become so much stronger if we just dedicate a little time to ourselves. You know, take a little time to live life the way we want to. Because why not, you know? That being said, ladies and gentlemen, something else we learned is that Jimmy Fallon is a thief. You see, my last name's Lafon. My dad's last name's Lafon. My whole family's last name's Lafon. And Jimmy Fallon, well, Fallon is just Lafon backwards. Literally, it is Fallon backwards. F-A-L-O-N. Lafon. L-A-F-O-N. Jimmy Fallon met my father one day. Had a conversation with him. And I'll never forget it. They were talking about cigarette brands, because it's just like a passing thing, right? My dad was working on a building that apparently he was kind of there doing a movie shoot as is. So as he's doing drywall, he kind of runs into Jimmy Fallon one day for lunch, and they're talking. And this is before Jimmy, of course, got his talk show. And I remember as a little kid seeing Jimmy Fallon talk with my dad, and I'm just like, wow. This is crazy. There's this famous dude, this slightly famous guy talking to my dad. Only come to find out the guy becomes more famous after stealing my dad's last name, just simply reversing it and using it as the name for his talk show and never, ever giving the props to where he got his shit. To which, hey, that seems like my family curse. We help prop a lot of people up, and sometimes we ain't always shown that love. But that's okay, because we like to see people rise anyway and get stronger, no matter if we're there or not. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, look. If there's one thing I hope that you guys learned today, it's that life is filled with simple joys. And if you take some time to search for those simple joys, you'll enjoy them more. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're at that beautiful segment of the show where I like to exercise my brain a little bit.
What we do is we pick a random starting point in our book that we are currently reading on stream, and we do 5 select pages out of that book from this randomly selected starting point. And that being said, today's book, and we'll probably do another 2 or 3 random readouts from it before we change books, but is the original George Lucas Star Wars from the Adventures of Luke Skywalker. I'm going to kind of flip through, find a page to start with, and read 5 pages from that. So here I go. I'm going to look away. Right here. We're starting at page 139. Here we go. Hoping an appeal to Solo's baser instincts might be more effective. If we could save her, the reward could be substantial. Rich. Then Solo looked disdainful. Wait a minute. Reward from whom? From the government of Alderaan. He made a sweeping gesture towards the hangar, and by implication, the space where Alderaan had once orbited. Luke thought furiously. She's being held there and is secluded to be executed. That must mean she'd be dangerous in some other way. To whoever destroyed Alderaan, to whoever had this station built, you can bet it had something to do with the Empire instituting a reign of full-on repression. I'll tell you who'll pay for her rescue and for the information she holds. The Senate, the Rebel Alliance, and every concern that did business with Alderaan. She could be the sole surviving heir of the off-world wealth of the entire system. The reward could be more wealth than you can imagine. I don't know, I can imagine quite a bit. He glanced at Chewbacca, who grunted a terse reply. Solo shrugged back to the big Wookiee. All right, we'll give it a try, but you better be right about that reward. What's your plan, kid? Luke was momentarily taken aback. All his eagerness up till now had been concentrated on persuading Solo and Chewbacca to aid in the rescue attempt. With that accomplished, Luke became aware that he had no idea how to proceed. He had grown used to old Ben and Solo giving directions. Now the next move was up to him. His eyes were caught by several metal circlets dangling from the belt of Solo's armor. Give me those binders and tell Chewbacca to come over here. Solo handed Luke the thin but quite unbreakable cuffs and relayed the quest to Chewbacca. Wookiee lumbered over, stood waiting next to Luke. Now I'm going to put these on you, Luke. Luke began, starting to move behind the Wookiee with the cuffs, and Chewbacca made a sound low in his throat, and Luke jumped in spite of himself. Now he began again. Han is going to put these on you, and he sheepishly handed the binders to Solo, uncomfortably aware of the enormous arthropod's glowing eyes on him. Solo sounded amused as he moved forward. Don't worry, Chewie, I think I know what he has in mind. The cuffs barely fit around the thick wrist. Despite his partner's seeming confidence in the plan, the Wookiee wore a worried, frightened look as the restraints were activated. Luke, sir? Luke! Looked over the 3PO. Pardon me for asking, but what should R2 and I do if someone discovers us in your absence? Hope they don't have blasters, Solo replied. 3PO tone indicated he didn't find the answer humorous, that it wasn't very reassuring. Solo and Luke were too engrossed in their coming expedition to pay much attention to the worried robot. They adjusted their helmets, then, with Chewbacca wearing a half-real, downcast expression, they started off the long corridor with Ben Kenobi and disappeared. As they traveled farther and deeper into the bowels of the gigantic station, they found it increasingly difficult to maintain an air of casual indifference. Fortunately, those who might have sensed some nervousness on their part are 2 armored stormtroopers, regarded as only natural, considering they're huge, dangerous Wookiee captive. Chewbacca also made it impossible for the 2 young men to be as inconspicuous as they would have liked. The further they traveled, the heavier the traffic became. Other soldiers, bureaucrats, technicians, and mechanics bustled around them. Intent to their own assignment, they ignored the trio completely. Only a few of the humans, sparing the Wookiee a curious glance. More so, expression seeming confident of the captor's record than the inquisitive. Eventually, they reached a wide bank of elevators. Luke breathed a sigh of relief. The computer-controlled transport ought to be capable of taking them just about anywhere on the station in response to a verbal command. There was a nervous second when a minor official raced to get aboard. Solo just stood sharply, and the other, without voicing a protest, shifted to the elevator loop in line. Luke studied the operating panel, then tried to sound at once knowledgeable and important as he spoke into the pickup grid. Instead, he sounded nervous and scared, but the elevator was pure response mechanism, not programmed to differentiate the appropriateness of emotions conveyed vocally. It had been Luke's hope that they would find or discover something like the old-fashioned barrel cells of the kind used in Tatooine in towns like Mos Eisley. Instead, they saw only narrow ramps boarding a bottomless ventilation shaft. These walkways, several levels of them, ran parallel to smooth carving walls, which energy gates seemed to be everywhere they looked. Unfortunately, the longer they stood and frozen in place, the sooner someone was bound to see them. Luke searched frantically, of course, for action. "This isn't going to work," Solo whispered, leaning toward him. "Why didn't you say before?" Frustrated, frightened, Luke shot back. "I think I did. Shh." Solo shot up as Luke's worst fears were realized. A tall, grim-looking officer approached them. He frowned as he examined the silent Chewbacca. "Where are you two going with this thing?" Solo quitted him with a hasty jab in the ribs. Panicky Luke found himself replying almost instinctively. "Prisoner transfer from block TS-138. The officer looked puzzled. "I wasn't notified. I'll have to clear it." Turning, the man walked to a small console nearby and again entering his request. Han hurriedly surveyed the situation, his gaze traveling from alarms, energy gates, and remote phosphorus to the 3 other guards stationed in the area. Solo nodded Luke, and as he unfastened Chewbacca's cuffs, then he whispered something to the Wookiee. An ear-splitting howl shook the corridor as Chewbacca threw up the hams, grabbing Solo's rifle from him. "Look out!" Seemingly terrified, Solo shouted. "It's loose! It'll rip us apart!" Both he and Luke had darted clear of the rampaging Wookiee, pulled out their pistols, and were blasting away with them. Their reaction was excellent, their enthusiasm undeniable, and their aim erratic. Instead, they blasted automatic cameras, energy rate controls, and 3 dumbfounded guards. At that point, it occurred the officer in charge that the abominable aim of 2 soldiers was a bit too selectively efficient. He was preparing to jab the general alarm when a burst from Luke's pistol caught him in the midsection, and he fell without a word on the deck. Solo rushed and opened the comlink speaker, which was screeching anxious questions about what was going on. Apparently there was audio and as visual as well, links between them. However, ignoring the barrage of alternate threats and queries. And check the readout on the set of the panel nearby. We gotta find out which cell is the princess of yours in there. Must be a dozen levels here. Here it is, cell 2187. Go on, Chewie, I'll hold the mirror. Luke nodded. After gesturing for the Wookiee to take up position where he could cover the elevators, Solo took a deep breath and responded to the uncasing calls from the comlink. "Everything's under control," he said into the pickup, sounding reasonably official. "Situation normal." Didn't sound like that, a voice snapped back, a nonsense tone. "What happened?" "Oh, well, one of the guards experienced a weapon malfunction," Solo stammered, his temporary official ease lapsing into nervousness. "No problem now. We're all fine, thanks. How about you?" "We're setting a squad up," the voice said out suddenly. I could almost smell the suspicion in the air. At the other end. What to say? He spoke more eloquently with the business end of a pistol. Negative. We have energy leak. Give us a few minutes to lock it down. Large leak. Very dangerous. Weapon malfunction. Energy leak. Who is this? What's your operating Pointing his pistol at the panel, Solo blew the instrument to silence. Here we go. Last page. Down the corridor. Hurry it up, Luke. We're going to have company. Luke heard, but he was absorbed in running from one cell to the next, studying the numbers glowing above each doorway. The cell 2187 has appeared. Did not exist, but it did. He found it just as he was about to give up and try the next level down. For a long moment, he examined the featureless, convex metal wall, turning his pistol to maximum and hoping it wouldn't melt in his hand before it broke. Though he opened fire on the door, when the weapon became too hot to hold, he tossed it from hand to hand as he did, so the smoke had time to clear. He saw with some surprise that the door had been blown away. Peering through the smoke, with an uncomprehending look on her face, was the young woman whose portrait R2 had projected in a garage on Tatooine several centuries ago. Or so it seemed. She was even more beautiful than her image. Luke decided, staring dazedly at her. You're even more beautiful than I. Her look of confusion and uncertainty was replaced by first puzzlement, then impatience. Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? She finally commented. What? Oh, the uniform. He removed the helmet, regaining a little composure at the same time. Come to rescue. I'm Luke Skywalker. Beg your pardon, she said politely. Said I've come to rescue you. Ben Kenobi's with me. We've got your two droids. The uncertainty was instantly replaced by hope with the mention of the oldster's name. Ben Kenobi. She looked around, Luke's ignoring him as she searched for the Jedi. Where is he? Where is Ben? Ladies and gentlemen, out there was 5 lovely, beautiful pages, a way for us to kind of help our brain out a bit better. Before we go tonight, I'd like to thank our top TTSers for tonight. And that's, of course, Plateau Sigma, Trick the Smoker, and, of course, Top Drawer. The 3 of you have been beautifully vocal all evening. And, well, we appreciate it. Every TTS that you guys do helps support the channel and helps us continue making this beautiful show. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could leave us off with one message tonight and nothing else, it's please take some time, use your brain, read a book, maybe do some math questions, just something to help your brain keep focused, because I've been needing to do more of that lately because I've lost a lot of my focus and I'm starting to get a lot of it back. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a lovely show, and honestly, I don't think I could have asked for a better audience for this kind of thing, You guys are always so receptive and kind and loving, and I just want you guys to know that I love you guys so much, and just know that I will do my best to entertain you guys every step of the way. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I think it is time for us to finally peace on out. So without further ado,